Live from the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex in Hillburn, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of New York Bears football. Tonight, the Bears kick off conference play on their home turf as they host the Valley Generals. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call by my broadcast partner, David Pizzuto. And tonight, the Bears will get their first test in what is a very tough Colonial Conference here in the NFL. 2 weeks ago, we opened our season-long coverage of the Bears with their matchup against the Glens Falls Green Jackets. The Bears controlled that game early, but they scattered several mistakes throughout that game, opening the door for Glens Falls in the closing minutes. However, the New York defense clinched the game with a late interception by Isaiah Berrios-Smith to win it 32-18. And Dave, despite winning back on June 27th, it is going to be tough to survive the mistakes that the Bears made in their season debut against the Generals here tonight.
Yeah, Joe, the opinions are scattered, obviously, but a lot of people think that the Colonial Conference is as good as it gets in the NFL. So once we start getting these conference games going, teams are going to have to be in top form to contend for a regular season and postseason title, and mistakes will cost you. That said, the Bears are 1-0, which puts them right on in a line with the Northeast Bulls and the Boston Bandits. You can also see victories they had last week over two 0-1 teams, the Pharaohs and the Generals team that we're going to see today. So, okay, the Bulls beat the Generals by 3 scores last week, 28-6. So how the Bears fare against the Generals team this week will answer some questions about how they stack up with the Bulls, and so on and so on. So even though this is an early season test, it's a big one for both teams. For the Bears to put the other 1-0 teams on notice, and for the Generals to squash questions on whether or not they belong here. It should be interesting to see what shakes out.
Definitely looking forward to this division matchup here tonight. And before we get a closer look at tonight's Bears opponent in the Valley Generals, let's take a look at what's ahead for this Bears team and talk a bit more about the landscape of the NEFL's Colonial Conference. And we talked conference standings already, and it's hard to ignore the early season performance of the two 1-0 teams. And as we take a look at the Bears' schedule now, they will have just one non-divisional game remaining, and they will not have a week off for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, Joe, and the schedules are very familiar, very similar for all the Colonial teams. A couple of non-conference games sandwiched between games against each conference opponent, home and away. All the games count equally, so those out-of-conference games do matter a great deal, and that's why that game last week against the Green Jackets, errors and all, was a big win for the Bears and one they needed. And the Colonial Conference, as I mentioned before, a lot of people think it's the class of the NEFL, so if a non-conference opponent beats a Colonial team, it'll turn a few heads. So the Bears took care of business last week, and you can see the schedule from here. 3 of their next 4 games are on the road, so big tests are coming up. It makes this game a big one for the Bears as they get ready for the stretch run of the season.
And the Valley Generals visit Hillburn tonight, looking to bounce back from a pair of lopsided defeats to begin their season by identical 28-6 final scores. However, it would certainly be a mistake to take this team lightly ahead of tonight's conference matchup. And outside of their early season performance, what more do we know about the Generals coming into tonight's game?
Yeah, they're a long-standing team in the ECFL, and we see it on the screen now. They run out of Derby, Connecticut. They were part of the ECFL, I believe, since 2022. They won a championship in 2024, and they were part of the ECFL in 2025. They finished 8-2. They were very strong, but they lost in the playoffs to the Northeast Bulls by a score of 14-12, also now in the NEFL. As far as what we know else about them, Joe, we don't know much except what we've seen on paper, and those 28-6 losses are tough to stomach, but it gets no easier tonight as it's also their 3rd straight road game to open the season. What I do like from them is that they seem to mix it up evenly between the run and the pass, so they're not a super reliant on one particular thing to carry them. The issue, Joe, is that they have to stop beating themselves with penalties, mental errors, and turnovers. They have yet to play full 60 minutes of polished football. They've done some decent things in pockets of time, but the question is, can they string together 3, 4, and 5 consecutive plays of positive outcomes, and can they make those one or two plays defensively each drive to end an opponent's drive, a big pass breakup or a sack or a tackle for loss on first down. This team seems on the cusp of doing good things. They've just been hit with big mistakes at big moments of games, and that's what's hurt them.
We mentioned the pair of 22-point losses to begin the season already, but as we look at the general schedule the rest of the way, it will unsurprisingly play out very similar to the Bears. These two teams will have the chance to get very familiar with one another during the next 3 weeks, and though the Generals will have a week off ahead of their final game of the regular season, they will not have a weekend off ahead of any of their remaining conference games the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. As we said, a very familiar schedule, but they will benefit from returning home. You know, I don't care if it's the NFL, NEFL, or Pop Warner football. Playing 3 straight games over the first month of a season, all on the road, is tough. We know at the semi-pro level, it's hard to travel full teams to road games and such. So having a home stretch, I think, will actually improve this team, make this team better. It's easier to develop better chemistry and continuity that way. And, you know, I feel for some of these teams that have to be road dogs week in and week out. Listen, they want to win tonight. There's no question. But what they also want to do is play better in that second go-around, as you mentioned, which happens in 2 weeks. So even at 0-2 coming in, they need to build. And today is part of that construction, and they have a lot of conference games left to prove themselves.
Colonial Conference football in the NEFL coming up next. And with that, we will step aside and take a very quick break for a message from our sponsors ahead of tonight's kickoff. The New York Bears open Colonial Conference play as they host the Valley Generals. That's coming up next right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Caleb, wanted to do a podcast. Everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials. Check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us. And I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, We blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089232694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
Joe Foreman and David Pizzuto back with you from the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex in Hillburn, New York, as we are just moments away from kickoff in tonight's NFL Colonial Conference matchup between the New York Bears and the Valley Generals. Both teams gathered at midfield right now for the opening coin toss. So, Dave, I'll throw it over to you for our keys to the game. What do these two teams need to do to come away with a conference win here tonight?
Well, I think what one team needs to do, the other team obviously needs to do to stop the other team. And I think for the Bears on their home field, much like last week when you and Joe were here, Joe, they need to get off to a nice start, a good fresh start. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win this coin toss if they elect to get the ball first. Establish momentum, establish the field position game right from the outset and force the Valley Generals to really have to play from behind all game. Even if it's not on the scoreboard, then from where they are on the football field. So we'll see if that's the case. How do you do that? I think you have to mix it up. I think you have to be able to rely on your run game early and get the passing game established after you start running the football, soften up that Valley's defensive front. I think on the defensive side of the ball, the Bears' strength is that defensive line, Joe. You got Gerard Revange, you got Frazier up there, you got Tariq Noble out there. I mean, this is a front four that is deadly. And so what do you have to do if you're the Generals? Well, you got to get rid of the ball quickly. You can't have your quarterback back there for 3, 4, and 5 seconds reading the field. He's not going to have that kind of time. So you have to be able to get the ball out quickly in the passing game. Try to establish a little bit of a run game of your own. Not every run has to get you 5 and 6 yards. 3 and 4 yards is just fine. But, Joe, like I said before in the pregame, you cannot beat yourselves. This goes for both teams. Penalties that start you off 1st and 15, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 25. You can't win games at this level like that. We've just seen it way too many times. You got to protect the football. You have to stay away from the yellow on the field. And if you do that, you at least have a 50-50 shot if you play good football.
And you mentioned the Bears pass rush and that defensive front, what they can do if the quarterback holds on to the football too long. And we saw the product of that to end the game a couple of weeks ago against Glens Falls. Late in that game, the Green Jackets were driving. They had a chance to tie, maybe a chance to win. And this Bears defense came up big with an interception late in that game. That was a product of the pass rush getting home, forcing the quarterback to get the ball out quickly. It resulted in a turnover and as big a spot as it gets, a game-clinching interception by Isaiah Berrios-Smith. And the Bears are going to kick to get us started. New York in their white uniforms with yellow lettering and numbers. The Generals wearing their blue jerseys with red lettering and numbers. They'll be going from left to right on your screen offensively once they receive the opening kickoff. So we're just moments away from getting started here on the PDF Sports Network. For those just joining us, thanks for tuning in. Joe Foreman on the call alongside David Pizzuto tonight in this NFL matchup. The Bears come in having won their only game. The Generals still looking for their first win, and they're looking to at least make some improvement over the final scores in each of their first 2 games. Decisive losses in both of those against opponents that, as we mentioned during the pregame, Dave, quality opponents in this conference.
Yeah, there's really no week off, and that's the thing, Joe, for both of these teams the entire way through. Every game is a tough game, so there's not like you get a reprieve on your schedule. You say, all right, this is a lighter opponent. We'll get to play a lot of our B team and C team guys. Here in the NFL 1 and in the Colonial, every game is going to be a war. And, obviously you have 5 teams. We believe that the top 4 will make it to the semifinals, but, it's really about getting better, because if you do finish in the top 4, there's a good chance you're going to have a playoff game. And so, yeah, play better by the end of the season. Stay healthy. That's another big factor. We know about, the injury to Juan Rodriguez and, how that thrust David Crawford into the starting role last week. We'll have to monitor that situation as we go. But as teams stay healthy and play well, you give yourself a chance at the end. You get yourself a playoff home game or two, and you might be lifting up a championship title at the end of a season.
And when you speak about improvement, the Bears are also a team that comes in looking to improve over what they did in their first game. And we should keep in mind, the Bears have played just one game in their new league here in the NFL. That game was a couple of weekends ago now. So this is just the second outing for this team in the 2026 season. You expect to see them improve upon what we saw in their opener. The Bears made some mistakes throughout that game, but when they needed big plays late, they made those big plays late. They got those stops defensively late as well when they needed them. And perhaps that was what was most important about that game, because early on, it was all New York. At about halftime is when the Green Jackets began to creep back into that game, made it a bit closer, and by the fourth quarter, the Bears were hanging on for dear life, and it did not seem like that was going to be something they needed to worry about early in that game, and things changed very quickly. New York made the big plays late. If they can avoid it, they would like to find themselves in a better situation late in the game this time around against a team that comes in 0-2, and after quite a lengthy wait, we appear ready for kickoff here in Hillburn.
Absolutely, and it looks like it will be Justin Hunter to get us started.
Hunter gets set to send it deep as this one sails toward the 15-yard line, fielded just inside of the 15 by Valley. Taking this return toward the far sideline is Mike Lowry, and he is stood up by a host of Bear tacklers just across the 20-yard line, and that's where the Generals will get started.
Yeah, Joe, you got to say it right. It's Mike Lowry from the Bad Boys movie. Mike
Well,
Lowry.
It's a good thing you clarified, because I didn't know where you were going with that. So I'm glad you clarified.
I remember when I was writing that the roster's in this morning. That's the first thing I thought about. He's got a very distinctive first and last name there from the movies.
I think I've seen Bad Boys or Bad Boys 2. One or the other, I'm fairly certain I've seen.
Well, there's been about 40 of them now,
it
right?
It was a long time ago.
Like
And I probably wasn't quite old enough to be watching that yet. But,
Well, Joe, getting back to the start here, obviously we talked about the Bears getting off to a good start. Well, conversely, this is the Valley Generals, opportunity here. It's a 0-0 game. They're not down by 10. They're not down by 20. This is a chance for you to establish the rhythm of the game. And again, it's not always about scoring points on every drive. It's about piecing together some first downs, getting in and out of the huddle quickly. Already we're seeing them a little bit labored coming out of this first huddle here, risking possibly a delay of game. They got to get themselves situated here. Get some plays run, get on the same page, and let's do this.
And ultimately last week it was a poor start, or 2 weeks ago now, for Glens Falls. A poor start for them probably cost them that game. Generals come out in the I formation. It's a play fake to get us started, and the Bears were not fooled. Big sack by Christian Robinson, and a big loss on first down.
Yeah, we're going to look at about a second down here and about 18 on this play, and that's a big an awesome job by Christian Robinson to get in there. And again, a little bit of deception, a little bit of, a counter play there, an option, but dead to rights was the quarterback there. I'm trying to get the number of the quarterback, Joe. Is that number 6 or number 8? Unfortunately, we don't have a quarterback with that number. We do see a number 3, Anthony Williams.
Yeah, a lot of the time when those jerseys get scrunched up around the shoulder pads, it's really tough to make out those numbers.
Yeah, we're going to try and get that. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my binoculars today, but either way, second down and very long. And again, not the way you want to start. We talked about this as too, first and 15, second and 20. These are the kiss of death here. But I do think that's Anthony Williams, number 3.
An attempt at deception on first down. The Bears were not deceived. And now the Generals will line up in the shotgun on 2nd and 18. 2 receivers wide to each side of the formation. And Williams is looking left. He completes short on the quick out. And that will pick up about all they lost on the previous play. Maybe a yard short of that. We'll make it 3rd and 11.
Yeah, I think it's 3rd down and 11 here. And it's a good job just to get that yardage back. It's a good, high percentage, confident play. that you run there, and a good job of bringing it in by Joshua Jefferson. He's, if there's a bell cow to this offense, he is it. He's their leading wide receiver so far through a couple of games. He's run the ball a couple of times, I believe, as well. So he's a guy that you need to keep your eye on. Number 11 is that guy.
Once again, Valley setting up in the shotgun. This time, trips to the right of the formation, one receiver wide left. They have numbers on the right side of this formation, just 2 Bears lined up over 3 Valley wide receivers. And the blitz is coming for New York. It's a throw downfield to the left, and it's picked off at the 45-yard line. And the receiver with a bit of a German suplex on that play to get the DB down. But it's an early Generals turnover and a Bears interception by number 3, Mokez Dickens.
Yeah, it's a great job that time by I think it was Nigel Swift, Joe, that made the interception. He ended up fumbling when he came to the ground. Yeah, okay. I think the ground might have caused the fumble. But Smith, that was thrown. It probably should have been on the inside shoulder. It was thrown on the outside shoulder. We're going to see a replay of that real quick, and we'll try and get that for you. Actually, we missed the replay, Joe, but that's okay. We'll get it the next time. I just was a little late with the trigger finger there, but. Yeah, it looked like the receiver had a step near the hash marks and cut in kind of like on a skinny post, and instead that one went to the outside. 3 plays and a turnover for the Valley Generals. Not the way they wanted to start, and now we have the Bears.
It is the Generals ahead of play 4 calling a timeout.
Yeah, and the Generals want to talk it over.
It's been a messy start for Valley in this game, and going back to that last play, they had the numbers on the right side of the formation with the blitz coming. I'm shocked they threw it up one-on-one on the left. You have to think there was something open on the right side of the field, but Williams immediately looking to his left, aired it out downfield, and that ball was up there for a while as well. By the time it came down, the DB already had his eyes on it, perfectly square to the football, and that was an easy pick for Swift. As you mentioned, he did fumble it on the way down, and it was recovered by Dickens.
Yeah. So, I think it looked like the receiver was more open than he was, and it was because Swift adjusted to the ball and kind of broke off of the receiver. So that's why the receiver looked a little bit more open than he was. It's just a poor pass that time by Williams. So, again, wide receiver running the flag and then moving in skinny on the hash mark. It was thrown to his back shoulder. It's only Swift in the area, and he's able to make the play. And this is exactly what we said in pregame too. Short fields, playing the field position game. The Bears have it 1st and 10, and indeed it will be David Crawford behind center, working out of the shotgun, and running back by committee for this Bears team too, Joe. You made note of that with Joe Calabrese last week. They can interchange a lot of pieces back there in the backfield.
And a flag comes out ahead of the first down snap out of the pistol, and the call is a false start against the Bears. Back them up 5, and it's 1st and 15.
Yeah, so 1st down and 15 instead of 1st and 10, and we talked about that.
And the Bears made mistakes that were scattered through the game a couple of weeks ago, as I mentioned during the pregame. There was really no point in the game where the Bears couldn't do anything right. It was just mistakes scattered throughout that really slowed them down after what was a really good first quarter. Pre-snap motion man and a handoff up the middle. That is taken out to the 45-yard line, close to the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 5 on the play, and it will be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Brown is a big guy to bring down, and when he gets that full head of steam, and the Bears are going without a huddle here, so they want to keep things moving. But they get the penalty yards back at least, so it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I was trying to make out the jersey number, but it was completely folded up into those shoulder pads.
Yeah, I think that's Daquan Brown, 0.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you could see there's no number on the front of his chest. It's tucked all the way up.
None at all. Though on the back, I thought it was an 8 initially.
So did I, but that's a defensive back.
It is a 0. It is. That is Brown, and he got a lot of work 2 weeks ago. The motion man was Sisson Jr. on that last play. Brown now to the left of Crawford, working out of the gun, and he is going to be the lead blocker. Crawford toward the sideline is taken down low, and that's a good tackle by the quarterback, Williams, who was also in there on defense.
Yeah, I don't know, Joe. I think that might be Terrence Mapp Because
they have two.
Yeah, because
They have two
quarterback
number 3s.
Anthony Williams is wearing a black helmet.
Okay.
So the quarterback's wearing a black helmet.
Got
So
it.
that's the second number 3, and that's Terrence
Didn't
Matt.
realize there were 2 3s.
But you're right, and now it's going to be 3rd down and 7 coming up, and that's a good open field tackle because Crawford looked like he was going to have a lane, and he was running from the start. No question on that play.
And there's no chance it's one helmet with the radio, one without for the play calls?
Maybe.
Could be. And the Generals jumped off sides. It's a free play, but Crawford's in trouble. And he got taken down by the face mask there.
He sure did, and he lost his crown as a result. There's a flag on the play, and we're going to see another replay of that too, just to get the very end and see if there was a...
Surprised that wasn't called, but maybe it was a blow to the head. I'm not sure if they officiate that the same way they do in the NFL, where if a player is struck on the helmet, it's automatically a roughing foul. And I know there are a lot of players and a lot of fans who aren't quite appreciative of that style of officiating in the NFL. What did you see on that play, Dave?
Yeah, I think there was a face mask yank there. We kind of lost it at the very end because of the throw that took place. But, yeah, that was a flag, and we'll take the flag off now, and it will be a 3rd down and 1 as a result of all of this.
So they called the penalty, and it wasn't an automatic first down? They
Well,
assessed that from all the way back?
No, they didn't call the face mask.
Oh.
They called the offside.
Okay.
And they gave him the 5 yards, and that leads to 3rd and 1 here.
Got it.
Yeah, but it was hard to tell, but definitely, I mean, there was no question Crawford lost his helmet, and I think it was because of hands to the face. But now the Bears have called a timeout, so they're going to be down to 2.
We've seen it now on both sides in this opening quarter. The first defensive play of the game for Valley, they needed a timeout, and now the Bears, ahead of a 3rd and 1, are forced to take their first timeout in this opening quarter. But so far, Dave, early impressions through the first few minutes?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, but, obviously the Bears on their first 2 plays dedicated to running the football. We know they have a lot of really good, talented players at the wide receiver. Sisson Jr., Grizzle, Tyler Petty. I mean, the list goes on and on. This Bears team has a spoil of riches at the receiver position, but they want to be able to establish the run, get a rhythm for their O-line, and that's what they did on the first 2 plays. And obviously the 3rd down was going to be a passing play, and it was blown up before we could see what was developing downfield. And obviously the pressure came because of the offside. So we'll have to see. But, I think head coach Walker senses this could be a big play here. It is a 4-down territory. This is kind of no man's land. But, you want to pick up this requisite yard, keep the possession going. You were gifted this possession via a turnover. Let's cash it in for points here.
And I think something that really stood out to me on the defensive side of the ball for the Bears, first of all, their discipline on that opening play, that was impressive. But when you combine that with how aggressive they were rushing the passer just a couple of plays later, I think that gives us some good insight into what the plan of attack for New York is going to be tonight. Go right at the Generals, keep them under pressure when they possess the football. And on the offensive side, so far, it's been a steady diet of the ground game, plus that offsides penalty ahead of a passing play.
Yeah, you mentioned this last week too, Joe. There's been a lot of deliberations after penalties that have been called here, and this is following a timeout. Head coach Jason Walker wants to have a little bit more of a discussion here with a couple of the officials. Not quite sure, obviously, what was said there, but wanting to make sure that everybody's on the same page here, and now we'll finally get back into action. Again, official time is being kept on the field for this game. We do not have access to the time that's on the clock here at the facility.
Once again, Sisson Jr. was sent in motion, and the Bears will hand off as the football comes out. It's still loose on the turf, and the Generals have it. Recovered at the 30-yard line, and just like that, Valley takes possession right back.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who had the final possession, but it was Sonny Roach, the wide receiver / DB, number 12, who forced that fumble. And what a nice hit at the point of impact that was made there to force it. We're going to take another look at it on your screen here via the replay. But, yeah, it was a run all the way that was going to yield the first down, and boom, nice little helmet to ball action right there. And we have our second turnover of the quarter, now 1 for each team. And possession back to Valley, where they kind of gave it up last time here at their own 30-yard line.
And no question, Dave, a sloppy start to this game for both teams. Early turnovers for the Generals and the Bears. Valley now with it, I'd say about 8 or 9 yards ahead of where they ended their last drive, just inside of their own 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Once again, they are going to line up Williams in the shotgun. One back in the backfield, and it's a draw play that will go nowhere. And did that ball come out? It may have, but I think the Generals got it, and they will rule the ball carrier down. So I think this one is going to be spotted just inside of the 25 rather than the 20, where that play came to an end. It's going to be a loss of 5 yards, 2nd and 15.
Yeah, we're seeing another replay of that as well, but it all starts because of that pressure by the Bears' front four. Actually, they sent 5 there on the run blitz, and they're able to get the ball out, and by the time it's recovered, it occurs 6 yards further down the field. So when we come back, it'll be 2nd down and 16. And that's the second straight drive now that the Valley Generals have had where on 1st down they've gone backwards a heavy amount. First time it was 8-yard loss. This is a 6-yard loss on 1st down to start this drive.
Once again, Valley lines up in the shotgun, 4 receivers out there. This time the back to the left of Williams in the offensive backfield. The Bears send 5. Quick throw was bobbled and dropped at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, that pass a little bit behind the wide receiver number 27, who we do not have on our roster here. We do have a Lowry who wears number 26, but it'll be 3rd down and 16 as a result.
3rd and very long for the Generals. I'm very curious to see just how aggressive will they be in this spot, trying to pick up this 1st down. Both defenses have forced a turnover. Are they confident they can block long enough to throw downfield, and do they take another chance testing these Bears DBs? Will New York send pressure is something else to watch as well.
Yeah, exactly. That was going to be my question is, do you dial up the blitz here on 3rd and 16 and force a quick pass? You know, I love that call on 2nd down. I truly do. The pass was a little bit behind the receiver, but that's designed to get you 7 or 8 yards, make 3rd down more manageable. Instead, now they line them up wide, and now they move trips up top.
Once again, pre-snap motion, a quick throw that way is complete. And it's a short gain out to the 30-yard line, which is right around the original line of scrimmage, bringing up 4th and 10.
Right, 4th and 10, and that was Mike Smith with the grab, the big tight end who actually came in motion right to left and was able to make the catch. And again, those are good, positive plays, but when you go backwards 6 yards on 1st down, they don't mean much in the grand scheme of things. And that's why it's so important to go forward on 1st down, avoid the big holes that you have to start drives in. Now they'll have to punt it away and hope to switch the field a little bit here. But the Bears do have 2 guys back here. They're going to look to get a quality return off of this kick.
And we saw it plenty during the Week 1 matchup with the Green Jackets. It was just a nightmare of a time for Glens Falls punting in that game. The Bears did come in and block one. They came very close to blocking another. We couldn't quite tell if they got fingertips on another, as that one is going to be blown dead before the kick, and
12 guys on the field.
Man on the field.
Yeah.
So that's a penalty that you just hate if you're the Generals and their coaching staff. That's just 5 yards that you give up for no reason at all other than a lack of coordination on special teams.
Yep, and that turns a 4th and 10 into a 4th and 15. And all you're doing here is yielding field position at this point. And that is Eric Sanchez to punt it away, number 88.
You have a much better time making out those numbers with the sun shining right in our faces than I do.
Taking a guess, Joe. He's the kicker on the roster. And those dudes
dudes
look like
That's
8s.
A good guess. Here come the Bears, and that
punt.
is a good kick by Sanchez. Received just outside of the 35, and a nice cut up field. And running room here for the Bears before finally the return man on that play, Grizzle, is brought down just short of the Valley 40-yard line. So a nice run back for Grizzle. We've seen how dynamic he can be both on the offensive side of the ball and on special teams.
Yeah, and Lillian is giving us a second look at it as well. But Grizzle, this is a good punt. It hangs up there enough, but Grizzle gets himself under it. He gets a running start to receive this ball, and he's able to take it, about 15 yards up the field before he's first touched. And it was that good stutter step at the very beginning. Ends up getting a 20-yard return, and for the second straight drive, The Bears are starting from inside of Valley General's territory. No points to show for it off the turnover to begin the game. Let's see if they can maximize this possession here.
Great starting field position for New York. The ball officially spotted at the Valley 41-yard line. This is not far from when their last drive ended, as they will hand off up the middle. And Brown is carrying Generals with him out across the 35 and inside of the 35-yard line is where he is finally brought down. A gain of 7 sets up 2nd and 3.
2nd and 3. And again, first impact about 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, but he's able to take it another 6 yards and carry a few on his back. And then he gets some help from his friends there and gets the little push. And those good quality plays on first down. You see the difference? You go back 6 yards on one end of the field. You go forward 6 or 7 yards on this end of the field. Makes such a big difference on 2nd down.
It certainly does. And now the entire playbook is open on 2nd and short. Crawford in the gun is looking to his left. And now he's flushed out the other way. Throwing downfield, man open. But that throw is off target and lands out of bounds. Nigel Smith was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and as soon as Crawford let that go, he knew it. You know, he had a man, he is under pressure. He is being chased, but, that's one that you'd love to have by the quarterback on the run. This is a simple one-step drop and, looking for the early route, instead developing downfield, and it'll bring up 3rd down when we come back.
Well, I mentioned ahead of 2nd down that the entire playbook was open ahead of that last play. And now on 3rd and short, you're looking to pick it up here and avoid having to run a play on 4th. Trips to the left this time. Crawford flanked by Brown to his right. And he will hand off. And that is certainly a number 8, Dave.
Yeah, but it is Brown.
It is Brown.
He's being called Brown as well,
Yep. And that's enough for a 1st down. Gain of 5 on 3rd and 3. And New York moves the chains.
Yeah, and again, if you're picking up 5 and 6 yards per carry, you can do that on 3rd down and 3, and you can feel really confident that your run game is there. That's your security blanket now, and that gives Crawford a little bit of, a chance to kind of mix things up. The play calling for Jason Walker, able to mix things up because your run game is there at this point.
Trips to the left, pistol formation,
Ooh,
and again
coming.
the Generals jump off sides. Crawford airing it out up the right side, and that is incomplete, but a flag does come out, and pass interference will be added on to the end of this play.
Yeah, and we're going to see a replay of both fouls, Joe. So right when the play starts, and then we'll just let it fly. And while we take a look at the white hat and get the right calls, our folks at home are watching the replay. We saw the right outside linebacker coming in. That was going to be a full blitz. And then at the very end, I think it's because the defensive back, Joe, never looks back at the football. And that's the reason for the pass interference. I think if you just put your hands straight up in the air and turn around, there's no way that ball is going to be completed. It was kind of drifting towards the sideline. But instead, they're going to walk off the yardage here, and it's going to put the Bears in great field position here.
Yeah, I think there's the question as well, Dave, whether or not there was any play on that football whatsoever if the penalty had not occurred. It was going to be a really tough reception.
It would have been, to stay in bounds, too. I know you only need the 1 foot in, but it would have been really tough.
Yeah, needing 1 foot is the only thing that leads me to believe there was a chance. And even then, I don't think that was going to be caught. Caden Liddy lined up wide to the right on this play. I believe that pass was intended for him on the previous play as well. He had a huge game in week 1. Trips formation again. Crawford throws the quick screen. That is complete. There is blocking and a good tackle. Was it a horse collar? It was not. A fistful of jersey able to bring down Nigel Smith. And that's a really nice tackle there by Malik Williamson.
Yeah, it was, and it's going to be very close to a 1st down. I think they made it a 2nd down and 1, so it's just short. But you're in great advantageous position here. The ball spotted just outside the 5-yard line. They need the 5 for the 1st down. So we're talking about 2nd down and about a foot coming up here. But this is a great position here. You can actually run the ball perhaps 3 or 4 straight times at this point to try and hit pay dirt. But well-developing play, and it doesn't happen without good blocking downfield as well.
Trips to the right for the Bears. 1st down, make that 2nd down, according to the sticks anyway.
Right, 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 handoff up the middle. And
He's going to have enough.
Was stopped. Did he pick up the yard they needed?
He needed the 5, the exact 5-yard line stripe. He got to the 4, so it's going to be first down and goal coming up.
It felt like they got way more than they actually did on that last play, Dave. I thought for sure they picked up a first down. That was a big play by Williamson. He saved the touchdown with that tackle, but now on first and goal from the 4, once again, you can do just about anything here. And I think the expectation is they probably hand it to Brown.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? 3 straight plays, you need 4 yards, and you just get Brown to the line of scrimmage, and he falls forward, and he's getting 2 yards. So, again, unless they try trickery, we see the bunch trip formation at the top of your screen as well. So that's an option there. Maybe one wide receiver cutting in or cutting out near the pylon. That could be an option for Crawford as well.
That bunch is always tough to cover on the goal line. A lot of the time, the receiver on the outside slants over the middle. As Crawford's forced to scramble, he does not have anywhere to go and is sacked. He's brought down at about the 8-yard line.
Yeah, it'll be second and goal after a loss of about 4 on the play. And that time, Crawford just looked like a pinball, getting bounced around on the bumpers there. And I think that play kind of blew up from the start because of the high snap. I don't know if that was a designed quarterback run or not, but the high snap kind of, ruined the play a little bit.
Yeah, not much Crawford could do there. Once you don't have your first read out of a bunch formation, a lot of the time you can see those receivers get clogged up. The defensive backs did well to make sure he couldn't get that ball out quickly, and the pass rush did the rest, ultimately coming away with the sack for a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, and again, it gives cause to second thinking. Why are you not running the football there on first and goal? Again, you're averaging 3, 4, and 5 yards per carry. It's a first and goal from the 4. Why not give it to your big workhorse here? And now they empty the backfield and put 5 wide, and now we're going to have a timeout, I believe, called by Valley. Let's see. At least there's some conversation going on the far side.
Yeah, and you mentioned it before, but a couple of weeks back, there were a lot of different situations throughout the game where there were inexplicable stoppages, whether it be to assess a penalty, to talk over a penalty, to spot the football, and none of them were directly linked to any timeout called by either team. So it was baffling, and we were left scratching our heads at times during that Week 1 game against the Green Jackets, but it looks like we're ready to go. No timeout was called.
Right.
And you mentioned an empty set for the Bears. 4 receivers on the left side of this formation. And Crawford's looking to throw the slant right. He completes, and the Bears are in for the game's first touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. What a timing route. And, you said it, Joe. You line up 4 guys on the left side of the field. You get single coverage high on the right. It's just a simple 3-yard slant on that play. Perfect harmony between quarterback and wide receiver. Was that Abalos or it was Caden Liddy? It was Caden Liddy who had it. And, yeah, we're going to take another look at it. Liddy at the extreme right of your screen. You don't pick him up yet, but there he is making that slant in line, and a good job. It's not poor coverage at all on the play by the defensive back, but it's 6-0 Bears for a reason. A lot of penalties on that drive against the Valley Generals, and the Bears pretty efficient. They back up a negative play with a positive one, and now Anthony Starego to try and kick the point after.
Caden Liddy has developed into a favorite target of David Crawford through the first 5 quarters of this New York Bears season, and once again we have a flag.
And we'll have to see if, again, there were 12 people in the huddle, or I think that's the case. Too many men out there. And they'll have to back this one up 5 yards to take the point after.
So Starego will be challenged from a bit further out. We've seen each of the first 2 weeks during warm-ups. He can drill it. And then the conversation really becomes, can they block for him? This Bears offensive line, one of the best in semi-pro.
Yeah, and the Generals have played 2 games this season, and they've scored 6 points in both games. So this could be a very important extra point, obviously, if scoring holds true.
And that one was blocked.
It's a live ball.
The Generals will scoop it up, and the Bears were there and finally make the tackle. It took 3 white jerseys, but they do prevent a run back. And just as I'm singing the praises of that Bears line, it is a blocked PAT to keep it 6-0.
Yeah, and you know what? Even though it's only a 5-yard penalty, maybe it forces Starego to kick more of a line drive here instead of putting Loft on. But that was some good penetration and pressure that time by the Generals. That's a good job of blocking that one. We see the aftermath developing here on the replay. But the Bears do what they got to do. They've had 2 drives starting inside of Generals field, inside of the Generals' 50-yard line. And you need points when you get drives like that set up that way. When you add up, 15, 20, 25 yards worth of penalties on that drive against the Generals, you have to get cash for that deposit, and that's exactly what the Bears got. They're up 6-0. Now the pressure turns to the Generals, who do not have a first down yet in the game. They've turned the ball over, and they've gone 3 and out. They need their offense to start humming along here if they want to put a wrench into the Bears' ideas for a win here at home.
And to your point, Dave, you only get so many opportunities in a game starting a drive in plus territory. And when you do, you need to come away with points, especially against quality competition in your conference. The Bears get the drive started in plus territory off the great punt return. Don't forget about special teams as well. Grizzle setting that one up with the nice return. And the Bears took full advantage there, marching downfield pretty quickly, helped along by a couple of penalties as well. This one received back at the 15-yard line. And on the run back, that was Mapp, who is finally wrestled down to the turf out across the 30. This drive will start at the Valley 33-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, it's not great field position for the Generals, but they're not inside their own 20 here. They got a little bit of breathing room. And, Joe, I go back to the first 2 drives. The first drive, on the first play, they went -8 yards. The second drive on first down, they went -6 yards. And I think that's the end of the first quarter here, Joe, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, it is.
All right, we are through 1 from Hillburn. Our score after the first period, it is the Bears 6 and the Generals 0. It will be Valley football, and we return in just a few short moments. I believe we will stay right here, Dave, unless we have a quick 1-minute commercial break. So it appears we do.
Casting in the nation.
And we are back from the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex, where the Valley Generals trail the New York Bears 6-0. It is Generals football, ball at their own 31-yard line. They moved it back a couple. That's where this drive gets started. Generals out of the gun, and it's an option kept by the quarterback. Now, Dave, you mentioned that Anthony Williams had a black helmet earlier. There was another number 3 on the roster in Terrence Mapp, but now the quarterback is sporting a white helmet. So maybe you can pick up the name on the back of that jersey.
No, I think they all say Generals, Joe. I think they all say
Generals.
Generals.
Now, doesn't
no. Well, he's a general, Joe. We could say that.
No,
but I think that's Mapp. Yeah, I think that's Mapp, who's now at quarterback. That's the only thing I can think of because now – yeah, because he's a bigger guy than the first quarterback was.
Well, if it was Williams who began the game at quarterback, I think he had the jersey tucked into those shoulder pads, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
But there's really no way for us to know beyond the number on that uniform.
Bears.
Second down and about 5 as Mapp's forced to roll out, and he nearly had that ball punched away as Mapp's forced out of bounds at about the 43-yard line here, and that's going to be enough for a first down.
It's a first down. So, yeah, that's actually a good play, too, all things considered, because the Bears came in on a run blitz. They actually rushed 5 or 6 on that play. And that's a nice job for them to convert. Actually, I'm sorry, Joe. It's a 3rd down and 1.
They ruled him short.
Yeah, they did rule him out of bounds prior to that.
Sideline.
And, yeah, we got another look at it, a nice replay there, and good camera work by Sabrina outside giving us that look. But it's going to be 3rd down and 1, and so a big play here as the Generals are trying to get their first down of the game.
3rd short, and I don't suspect they would go for it if they don't pick this up. So early in this game, this is a big play. It's either pick this up or very likely give the ball back to New York, already leading by 6,
Yep.
and a chance to go in front 2 scores.
And they put 6 in the box through the Bears, with 7 and 8 creeping up. Now a 7th coming in.
They've been showing pressure just about every play, and a flag comes out with the snap. False start against the Generals.
That is a killer. So that makes a 3rd down and 1, a 3rd down and 6.
And we've seen it multiple times already in this game. The Generals harming themselves with penalties. And you're only going to get away with this so often. It's early, and there's time to clean things up, but the Bears already on the board for 6, and now they feel strongly about an opportunity to get off the field again here and put up 6 more.
Yeah, and, that penalty, Joe, as a coach, and I only coached in Pop Warner. It's not like I coached adults, but that just kills you, man. A 3rd down and 1, you're on the cusp of your first down. There's no excuse to go offside there. I understand the Bears have 6 and 7 in the box, but you have to stay disciplined. That's an unforced error. You can't go offside there. It changes the whole dynamics here of this 3rd down play.
Generals in the gun. It is now 3rd and 6. The Bears once again showing pressure at the line of scrimmage.
They bring
and
6.
Here they come. The pressure gets home. Mapp circling back toward the near side, trying to get upfield, but he breaks a tackle and fumbles the football out of bounds around the 40-yard line.
It's going to be
the football.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th down and about 3 now. So he lost 2 yards on that play, Joe, and we'll get another look at the replay. But, the Bears blow this up from the beginning, Joe, because they rush 6. And when you have 6 rushers against 5 blockers, one's going to get free. And in this case, the Bears got 2 free kind of on Mapp. And I'll tell you what, Mapp, for all of his pirouetting, he takes this one at the 15 and brings it up to about the 38-yard line. So he covered a lot of real estate on that run. Unfortunately, he's 3 yards shy, and it does not look like the Generals are fixing to punt here. In fact, I don't know if they've called the timeout here, but we have a lengthy delay again here, Joe, by the football.
It's happened time and time again, Dave. And
it's
I have
official.
To admit,
it's official time.
I can't believe Mapp got upfield on that and was able to outrun nearly the entire Bears defensive front. Then he broke a tackle from a big lineman. I think that was William Fields who got hands on him. He broke that tackle, and I don't think they gave him the forward progress for the fumble going forward. I think that's what they were talking about, Dave. I think they were concerned that they gave him forward progress on the fumble. He fumbled it out at around the 40, and I thought that if you fumbled forward in a situation like this outside of the final 2 minutes of either half, that you did get that forward progress.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the delay was, Joe. And they put that ball backward now. So now it's a 4th down and 5. Now, there's a timeout that has resulted here. I don't know who took it, but I'm going to guess it was maybe the Generals who took this timeout. We're not sure yet, so we won't mark it down. But because I thought the Generals on 4th and 2 were going to go for this, Joe. I think that was the case. They did not bring the punter out onto the field. But now on 4th and 5, now I would question this call here because, again, with the Bears putting the kind of pressure that they are, I think it might take the pass off the table. In that case, you're going to have to rely on Mapp's legs to get you 5 yards here. That's going to be tough here against this defense.
Yeah, I think on 4th and 5, you have to punt it, especially given the quality of the punt by Sanchez last time. The Bears are always a threat to get in there and perhaps block a punt or wreak some havoc around the line of scrimmage on special teams, but
they're going.
Yeah, I think that's a big show of respect to the Bears offense because if you're going for it here, you're already questioning early in this game whether or not you can get a stop, in my estimation.
Yeah, and the Bears are once again putting 6 guys in the box just to start here. We'll see if they send all 6 or back a couple in coverage, but Mapp's going to feel the heat, that's for sure.
Yeah, they don't have enough guys up front to block all of this unless you include the back.
Unless they get 5 free ones here. Wow, and they didn't whistle that. That's a free play.
Going to be a penalty.
Well, there's no whistle, Joe. They didn't blow the whistle to stop the ball. Now, obviously, he's a defenseless player, so you can throw the flag there on defenseless player, but that has to be on the officials, Joe. I mean, there was obvious encroachment. There was obviously contact made at the line of scrimmage to penetrate, and you got to blow that play dead. You're going to get the quarterback hurt on a play like that because the defender is doing what he's supposed to do. He's finishing the play. That's what you teach your guys. Play to the whistle, play to the whistle. When there's no whistle, he did the right thing.
Well, playing devil's advocate, the only thing I'll say about that situation is if a play is blown dead when an offense has an opportunity for a free play, you know you're going to hear it from the offensive sideline about not giving them a chance. So that's the only pushback I would have in that situation. That being said, I agree with you. I think that's when you have to blow dead. And here we go again, Dave. They're talking it over, and we've had so many of these delays. Now, the penalty was against the Bears, and that might be enough for a first down.
Well, I don't know if it is, Joe. I mean, it looks like he's just short. Yeah, they gave him 6 yards on that penalty, and they gave him an automatic first down. That's oh my God. The
Bears are arguing right now.
Yeah. The line of scrimmage was at the 36, so 5 yards makes it the 41, not the 42.
Now the official's walking it from the 37.
Yeah, this is just I mean, look, I understand the level of football that we're playing here, but you got guys wearing black and white jerseys there, enough of them to know where that ball should be spotted. That ball was spotted at the 36-yard line. You have a 5-yard penalty. Let's do some mathematics here, folks. 36 plus 5 is 41, not 42. And this is nonsense. I mean, and it took them so long just to make the call. I mean, what are we doing here? It's an offside call. It's 5 yards. Walk it off. It's 4th and 1.
I'm speechless. They're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, this is madness at this point. I mean, we have the replay to show it. We have the receipts. I mean, that ball was spotted at the 36-yard line.
You know what I always say when something like this happens, Dave?
Call it up to the booth. We'll help you.
What I always say is, are they getting paid by the hour?
I know we're not. So let's move this along here.
Oh. Well, the Bears appear as if they're not going to leave the field of play until they get this right.
Well,
and by our estimation, it should be about, I'd say, half a yard short of a first down.
Let's go back to the replays here. Let's do this. Let's see where that play originated. So let's play the replay. Yeah, that ball's at the 36. Joe, we just backed it up to the last play. The snap happened at the 36. So unless there's a 6-yard penalty that we don't know about in football, this should be a 4th down and 1.
It is. It's 4th and 1, and the Generals, after all that, call timeout.
And now's another flag that's been thrown. Oh, no, maybe not.
Well, it looks like they threw it back to the Bears bench. Were the Bears flagging the officials?
No, I think, you know what? The Bears have yellow gloves, and I think somebody threw a yellow glove on the field to kind of mock the officials here. But it's going to be a 4th down and 1 when we come back here, and the Valley Generals have called a timeout.
That was a very interesting sequence. We'll call it interesting, but I could think of other words I can't use on the broadcast.
And listen, you don't want to kill the officiating crew. They're doing the best that they can, but there's 5 of them, Joe. And between 5 officials, they need to get that right. You know, they need to know where the previous spot was. They need to know how to get 5, and they put it back to the 42. Joe, the ball was just at the 41, and one of the officials just picked it up and put it back at the 42.
He insists.
This is madness.
Well, now it's inches again.
And now they're laughing it off, but I'm just beside myself at this point.
They need about a thread to pick up a first down now, and they're in the shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I formation. Okay.
All right. Man, oh man!
Even then, they are so close that I'm inclined to say sneak it. I know the Bears are a big, powerful defensive front, but I mean, I'm at the point where I'd almost say sneak it. You really can't out of this formation, right?
This is tough. 8 in the box. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy. It's a rollout right and a nasty end to that play. Dave, we'll let the replay speak for itself. And, again, this play was doomed from the start unless your quarterback's sneaking on this play. Yeah.
And then
Maps hurt, Dave.
And he took a shot.
He went down head first into the turf.
Yeah, and the way the ball came out of his grasp, he was meant to throw this as a bomb, but it just looked awkward coming out of his hands, and that's because he just took an absolute wallop here at the – oh, my goodness, Joe.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Really, really bad.
We're
going to back it up.
I didn't know what to say when the play ended, except that is an ugly, ugly end to that play. Now, I'm inclined to say, Dave, that's got to be Williams in there, and that it's been one player at quarterback the entire time. I can't imagine that they've run 2 different number 3s out there. Yeah, so, that is Williams, who's been at quarterback.
Yeah.
He's switched to a white helmet.
Okay.
He has switched to a white helmet.
Oh, goodness,
Mapp is
man.
back out there on defense, and Williams is very lucky he's walking off the field.
Joe, we saw the replay twice now, and the hit that Williams took is one of the hardest hits I've ever seen a player take at this level. I mean, because it was blindsided, and he just got directly put into the turf. And
he got lifted up and then spiked back down on his head. He is lucky to walk off the field.
Yeah.
First down, Bears. Pressure coming from the Generals. Flushing Crawford left, and that did not reach the line of scrimmage. That should be intentional grounding.
Well, we'll see. It did not reach. He was outside the pocket.
It still has to reach the line. That wasn't even close. And there was no receiver in the area.
2nd and 10.
Well, if they do not flag this, Dave, they missed it, because that pass ended up about 5 yards short of the line of scrimmage, and there was no receiver remotely close. And I think the officials are going to talk about it now. And that would be the right thing to do here, I think.
Well, they are discussing it. There's no way it got back to the line of scrimmage. And was there a receiver in the area?
Oh,
maybe there was enough of one.
There was no receiver in the area.
Well,
you can't tell. I'm frustrated. I'm a hint frustrated.
A little bit. Down marker says first, but it is 2nd and 10.
Spread shotgun set here on what is 2nd and 10. It's marked 1st and 10 on the field as Brown was stood up at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 10.
We think, and the official does signal 3rd down.
Yeah, for sure. And
you always have to mind the chains.
Well, I'll tell you what, last couple plays, Generals have gotten some good pressure right there at the line of scrimmage. They've been standing up the Bears at the line. They got good pressure on Crawford on 1st down, and Brown, who's gotten pretty much all the carries from the running back position, goes nowhere there, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 10.
And I mentioned before, Dave, that when the Generals were preparing to go for it on a 4th and 5, that was a show of respect to the Bears' offense and maybe a belief that you're going to have a hard time slowing them down. Perhaps it was a show of confidence in their own defense.
Maybe.
They have a chance to get off the field here. And Crawford is taken down. I thought maybe he lost that football, but somehow he pinned it to his thigh and held on. It's a loss of 2 on the sack, and it's going to be a 4th down and 11.
Yeah, so it's a minimal loss, but again, the Generals are getting home, and I thought actually the Bears got away with a little bit of a jump by the right tackle.
I thought so too.
Could have been a 5-yard penalty, but I think the Generals will take that instead. A loss of down. That ball now backed up beyond the line of scrimmage, so 4th down and 11. It's a go-for-it situation here as they're inside the Generals' territory here. You'd expect them to go for it, but this play is not going to have a chance unless they can get Crawford some time here, and the Generals are starting to get home.
4th and 11. Generals show pressure and drop off into coverage as Crawford looks to throw. He was tripped up, and he is sacked again. Forward progress ruled right past the original line of scrimmage. Take the sack off the board, but take the Bears' offense off of the field as the Generals respond by forcing a 4 and out.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe? That has to be a cause for concern for the Bears because the Generals got there with only 4. By only rushing 4. And, 5 linemen against 4 defensive linemen, you expect to win that and get some time for Crawford. And we said it. This play is not going to have a chance on 4th and 11 unless they can get some protection for Crawford. They cannot do it. Credit the Generals for getting home. They needed a big stop on this drive. They got one. They hand it back to their offense here, only down by a score.
Did I put the hex on the Bears when I mentioned their stellar line play?
Yeah, maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
Or the Bears were kind of feeling it a little bit after that drive, figuring, hey, we got down the field. We went, 40 yards pretty quickly on that last drive. We've got this. But the Generals came here to play, like we said. Their goal is to continue to get better, to build, and that's a good quality defensive stand by the defense. And now here we go out the other way, and now we have Williams with the black helmet again, Joe.
All right. Anything to mitigate the impact of what was a brutal hit the end of that last drive, and there's a fumble, and I think the Generals got it.
Yeah,
they can't get out of their own way right now.
Yeah, and it was the running back wearing number 17, who we do not have on our roster, who ended up recovering the fumble, but it was a loss of 5 on the play, so 2nd down and 15 now.
It's a loss of 6 on that last play. And again, The Generals behind the sticks, and you made the point earlier, Dave, moving backwards.
Yep.
Sometimes ahead of first down and sometimes on their first down plays, but it's getting really ugly for Valley. They're fortunate to be down just 6.
On 3 of their 4 first downs in this game, they've gone backwards 6 or more yards.
I form once again, and a handoff up the middle to the aforementioned number 17, who's not on our roster. It's a pickup of 2 yards, and the Bears are still playing on. A flag comes out. What is happening at the bottom of that pile?
Yeah. And
one of the Bears is all up in the face mask of one of the Generals. I think there might have been a scuffle at the end of the pile.
Well, or 2 guys are locked up. I don't know why.
Well, they were. And it was the General who had his hands in the face mask of one of the Bears.
Right. And
perhaps the other way around. I think I had that backwards. But either way, one player had a fistful of face mask.
Yeah, and the last person to get up from that scrum was the ball carrier, number 17. So he was not involved at the end of that play. And it's going to take probably a long time to sort out here.
2 flags are down, and there was a personal foul that went against the Bears. Jason Walker's like, and? He expected an offsetting foul the other way, but isn't going to get it, and this may award the Generals their first down of the game.
Yeah, if it's a personal foul, it's an automatic first down no matter what. But now they're putting up the number 3 to make it a 3rd down and potentially 1, but let's see what a result of this is. It's going to be first down, yeah. So 1st and 10 coming up, and it is the first down of the game. They get it via penalty, but they'll take it. And Valley is in the Bears' side of the field for the first time in this game on their side of the 50-yard line stripe.
And that might be what it takes to jumpstart this Generals offense. And if you're the Bears, that is something you simply can't afford against a team that is struggling to string together consecutive positive plays.
Yep, and that would have been a 3rd and 15 if the play stands.
Yeah, why help them out if you can avoid it? I think the Bears expected there to be an offsetting penalty against the Generals, but there was not. It's a split back formation here, and there is a change at quarterback, a fumbled handoff, and again, the Generals are on top of it. So James Moore Jr., who is listed on the roster as a wide receiver, he is the only number 6 on the Valley roster. He is now at quarterback.
Yes, he is, and I think William Fields was the guy who got in and blew up that play. And before the handoff can even take place, Joe, before the exchange happened, Fields was in there to almost receive the exchange. That's how bad that play was. It's a 6-yard loss as well when we come back, so it'll be 2nd down and 16. And again, another first down where the Generals go 6 yards or more backwards, and they start with 2nd and 16.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and it's almost been habitual at this point. First down, pre-snap, or on the play, back us up 5+. And when you put yourself behind the sticks repeatedly, it's almost impossible to gain any traction offensively. And we've seen that play out as you have to think much of the second quarter has bled out already as well. Neither team has really done much of anything in this quarter. Most of the quarter's been played between the 2 30-yard lines. And I think we're closing in on the 2-minute warning, Dave.
Yeah, it could be. Clock has certainly been moving along.
Yeah.
A lot of running.
A lot of fumbles, and there's another. And Moore Jr. able to get on top of it, but this has been as sloppy a half of football as we've seen for a team.
My goodness.
It's been about now for you and I'd say 4 years plus of semi-pro.
Yeah, this is
We're closing in on 4 years.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 30 coming up. Yeah, and it's hard to say. And, the thing is now you have James Moore Jr., who is listed as a wide receiver, playing quarterback, and he's unable to kind of field that snap clean. It's a good snap. There's nothing wrong with it. And I think that the loss of Williams in at quarterback, Joe, it's just going to make the Generals very one-dimensional at this point. I don't know if they can be a downfield passing team. So here on 3rd and 30, I'd expect them to just maybe run it right out of the backfield or do something high percentage here. But if you're the Bears at this point, look at them. They only have one guy back deep. That's Berrio Smith. Everybody else is 5 yards past the line of scrimmage because they're not respecting the downfield passing game.
It's quick throwing complete. That's one you have to have. The intended receiver on the play is number 17, as you mentioned before, not on our roster, but Moore Jr. on a short pass just misfired, and
Yeah,
Generals will have to punt.
it's a bad pass. It's a pass behind the receiver who's going from right to left, and that's thrown across his body. It's still a play that you need to make. I'm sure number 17 would like to have catched that, but even if he does, Joe, it's going to be a 3-yard gain. So on third down and 30, that's not going to get you anything of substance. You're just trying to get some continuity offensively. Not even that's working. And now you have a fourth down, and Sanchez has to come in, and the Bears are going to have another chance here to return one and get the ball back in pretty good field position. A chance to maybe insert a dagger with a second score, given how futile it's been for the Generals here offensively.
And the good news for the Generals is that their pass rush has done some good things,
Right.
especially on that last Bears possession. And their punter, Sanchez, put a boot into one last time. Grizzle offset it a bit with a nice run back. And, you don't really have a good option back there to kick it to. And again, the Bears came pretty close to fingertips on that ball. Broken tackle at the point of receiving that punt, and Grizzle again turns what could have been a return of 0 into a return of about 10.
Well, I thought Grizzle avoided what could have been an absolute shot that he could have taken. Now, I think the Generals player held up just a little bit here, Joe, because he needed to make Grizzle make the catch and only got a little bit of a bump on him. But Grizzle could have been lit up. Look at that. I mean, that's a fair catch material right there. But Grizzle escaped one, too, there, and he managed to get it. He's slippery. He's elusive, and it's first down and 10 for the Bears. In a good field position again. Let's see if they can make something happen on this drive.
A bit more breathing room for the Valley defense on this drive. Following the turnover on downs earlier, they were backed up in their own territory and had to make a stand. They did so quickly. 4 and out last time for the Bears, and this time they'll begin the drive from their own 46-yard line. They lead at 6-0, and we would suspect that we are closing in on the 2-minute warning, but again, we don't have the official time up on the venue scoreboard.
No, exactly. So just a guess at this point. But they go with no one in the backfield here. The Bears emptying it out and getting 5 wide.
Motion man coming across the formation is Khalil Daughtry. Trips to the right. Jason Walker pleading with his wideouts to get into position here, as once again there is pre-snap motion to that side. It's Smith, and the pass is complete to Cam Abalos. Abalos gets a nice block up the field, and he looks to be 2 or 3 yards short of a first down. It is going to be 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, it's a nice little play to start the drive. We mentioned the importance of getting yards on first down. They got it right there. So 2nd down and 3, positive 7-yard. You get 7-yard chunks, you're going to be down the field before you know it.
Again, 2nd and short, and last time the Bears found themselves in this situation, the entire playbook was open. It ended up turning into a 3rd and 3, which they converted. Again, trips to the right of the formation. Crawford working out of the gun, flanked by Brown. Ball at the 47 of Valley here. Crawford hands off to Brown. Brown looking for space, but doesn't find any, and picks up just a yard. That will bring up 3rd and 2.
Yeah, 3rd and 2 now. And again, you have to like what the Generals are doing. Again, they were in the backfield almost in unison with that handoff between Crawford and Brown. And, that was very dangerous there, because on the exchange, that could have been a fumble as well. And now on 3rd and 2, you have a thought process here to go through if you're the Bears. Not going to be easy just to run this one in.
Bears found themselves in a very similar spot earlier, picked it up on the ground. Once again, trips to the right of the formation, one receiver wide to the left. Crawford working out of the gun, Brown to his right. Brown will now move over to Crawford's left. And I think he drew the defense off, but the ball wasn't snapped.
Yikes.
And the flag comes out a bit later.
Yep. Everybody got the memo but the center on that play, Joe. We'll have to see who they whistle this on. But judging by the fact that they let the play go, it's probably on the Generals here.
I'd be inclined to agree, and it is offsides on the Generals, but when the quarterback expects the ball and begins to move as if the ball is coming, and that is what draws the defense across, you could see that called on the offense. Certainly could, but not this time. And if you look at the Bears sideline, they're watching the official enforce the penalty, those 5 yards.
There was a slow crawl for that ball to be spotted 5 yards down the field. But I think they got the right call there. There was a lot of movement there. There was some encroachment as well. And the Bears get the first down via the penalty. They got it the easier way, I guess you could say. And they're on Valley's side of the ball, closing in on the 40-yard line.
They'll send trips to the left this time. 1st and 10 in Valley territory.
2-minute warning. It's a 2-minute warning, Joe.
Well, I would say it's been a quick-moving first half, and I think in terms of the amount of time spent in play, that is true. But we've had plenty of lengthy stoppages to enforce penalties and personal fouls and such. So we kicked off about an hour ago and have reached the 2-minute warning with the Bears leading 6-0. New York kicked to begin the game. So they have a chance to double dip here. And if they go in front by 2 scores and take the ball back, you could argue they have a chance to put this game away in the third quarter.
Joe, I completely agree with you. I think the way this game is going, just the flow, the movement by the Generals, I think their ability, what they have shown offensively, especially with their quarterback who's now injured, I think a second score here by the Bears almost guarantees that they can hold on and win this game, barring some kind of epic collapse, barring some kind of pick six or a kickoff return or something other than the Generals moving the ball offensively. I just haven't seen enough from the Generals to give me any sort of confidence that they're going to be able to move the ball methodically down the field. And when you lose your quarterback, Joe, and your passing game goes from the potential of getting it 10 and 15 yards down the field to now only 3 and 5 yards down the field at a time, you're talking about an offense that's going to need 8, 9, 10 plays to score, and I don't see that happening for the Generals in a game like this. It's still early, but I just don't see it.
I think if they fall behind 2 scores, that makes it a very steep hill to climb, as they'll hand off on the jet sweep here, and the Bears will pick up about 7 or 8 on first down.
Yeah, the jet sweep for Sisson gets a first down, exactly. So it's 1st and 10 still, and we'll get another look at it.
Wow, I thought he stepped out short.
Yeah, so did I, but I think he kind of lunged for the first down marker, and he actually touched the first down marker. So I think that's what they ruled there on that play, and good little call following the 2-minute warning. And again, they are going to wind the clock here, so this clock should be moving. At least that was the motion that the white hat gave us.
Well, what is clear is that there is absolutely no urgency on the side of the Bears here.
Unless the clock is stopped, because he
did go out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly. He lunged out of bounds. That clock should be stopped. But again,
they signaled motion.
Exactly.
Got it. Pistol look here on 1st and 10 from the Generals' 31-yard line. 4 receivers on the field. Brown lined up behind Crawford in the backfield. Crawford looking to throw, airs it out downfield. Liddy is there, but just a bit too long on that pass from Crawford. And the Bears are going to lament that one if they don't score on this drive.
Yeah, and I wonder, Joe, if Liddy just didn't pick that up with enough time. It looked like, because that ball looked like it was kind of there. If Liddy extends for that pass probably could have been caught. I just don't know if Liddy just didn't pick it up, in time, or could track it in time.
Yeah, where it landed, it appeared to fall to the turf, maybe a foot in front of his front foot, which would lead you to believe he could have extended and made the catch if he tracked that football properly. But from our perspective, it really is tough to tell whether or not that ball was a bit too long or if he just didn't pick it up. Sun not a factor anymore. It is set behind the mountains along the far sideline. Pistol look again, trips to the left of this formation. Brown in the backfield behind Crawford, who will fake the handoff and throw deep right sideline. Abalos adjusting, and he dropped it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, we're going to get another look at it, but you could say he dropped it, but I actually think that's a nice play by Markenzie Auguste at the very end to get his hands in between Abalos as he had to adjust to the football. I think the defensive back makes a really nice play here right at the end. And we'll pick it up right at the end here. But, yeah, lifting up that hand, that's a nice play by the defensive back. Give credit where it's due. That's a nice play. 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, Yeah, I thought it got through to the body.
It may have, but I think
that's
just enough of a disruption. Yeah, and he got a piece of the ball as well.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Because I thought Abalos was going to have a chance. Trips to the right this time. Once again, Crawford in the pistol. And he's really favored the side with the one wide out, throwing down the field to this point in the game.
That would be the top of your screen.
This time it's a screen to Abalos. Has a man to beat. And he leaps over the first line of defense. Could not get by the second. That draws some oohs and ahs from the spectators here in Hillburn. And brings up a 4th and short for the New York offense.
Yeah, and we're going to see the leapfrogging ability here of Abalos. He did get high enough, but the defensive back was not fooled and went high with him and gave him a little bit of a somersault here. And he stayed in bounds, which means that the clock is moving, barring the Bears calling a timeout here. But it's a 4th down and 4 when we come back. So obviously they're going for it here, but they're going to have to get 4 big yards here on this play. The line of scrimmage is the 25. They need to get to the 21, and the Bears have called a timeout.
And there's no chance he landed out of bounds.
No,
right?
he did not. He did not. We just saw the replay as well.
Got it. So it's 4th down and about 3 from the 25-yard line. Maybe a shorter 4, long 3. Either way, New York, if they pick this up, put themselves in prime position to get points before halftime, whether that's a touchdown or a late field goal attempt. Doesn't really matter, because I think if they go ahead by 2 scores, they put themselves in prime position to come out in the third quarter and potentially put this game away. Do you think there's any chance they kick a field goal? And before we get there, what are you looking for here on 4th down?
Definitely, I don't think they're going to kick a field goal. At least not from here. No. If they
get
get closer, yeah.
When they get closer, I should have.
And there's only 1 or 2 plays left. Yeah, I think that they would do that. They have the kicker who can. But, I think this is a big play for the Generals as well. Even if they stay stuck at 0 for the rest of the game, Joe, I think that this is a play where now defensively they're starting to swell up a little bit with some confidence. The Bears haven't been able to complete that big pass down the field. They've been able to bottle up Brown on these last 3 or 4 carries that he's had. Remember, he was getting 5 and 6 and 7 yard chunks to start this game. Now he's not. So I think this is a big play for the Generals and their confidence here. And I hate to say it, Joe, they're up by 6. They don't look like they're getting threatened defensively, but I think this is a big put up or shut up play for the Bears too. This is a play that they absolutely need to make. They've been on the Generals' side all half long, and they only have 6 points to show for it, and that was on a drive where the Generals had a lot of penalty yards. It's a big play here for the Bears, and it's time for them to make a play here offensively.
The longer this stays a 1-score game, the more concerning things become for the Bears, regardless of what you do defensively, and this might be a free play.
I'll tell you what, man, we said it.
Which way is this going?
Yeah, we said it during pregame, but the ability to not hurt yourself is going to be critical in these games. They always are in semi-pro football. I don't care how evenly or unevenly matched teams are. And a big discussion on who's to blame here on this one, but we'll see what they do. And they want a second opinion.
They have to talk it over. Who threw the flag?
Exactly. And I think there were multiple flags thrown, so maybe that's why they're getting a second opinion. But it's going to be against the Bears for drawing things off, so it'll be a 4th down and 9.
That's a big call right there, and the Generals dodge a bullet. And you could see the defensive lineman for Valley very appreciative of that call going against the Bears, but we don't have a 93 on our roster.
I was just about to move.
It might be on the game day rosters, though. Worth a look.
We shall see.
So 93 and 17 with the 2 numbers.
Well, I only have the Bears roster as far as
I thought there was
the
one
game
for
day.
each team.
I thought so too.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Unless that's 2 copies.
Maybe.
All right. Either way.
No, it's not. Okay.
4th and 9.
Yep.
Spread shotgun set. Crawford flanked by Brown. Initially, the Generals tried to show pressure and drop off. And now I think Crawford has to have an idea of what they're looking to do here. I don't think they're coming on this play. And they are dropping back into coverage as Crawford looks to throw. He takes off, looking to break back left, and they yank him down, and he is tackled hard.
Yes, he was for a 5-yard loss. First down the other way for Valley. We're going to get another look at it via the replay. But you know what, Joe? I was just about to say, why send pressure when you're getting pressure with 4? I mean, the Valley Generals have done a really nice job getting home with 4 guys. Now, Crawford is taking his time in that pocket. He's waiting for his 3rd and 4th options to materialize. But I'll tell you what, this Generals defense has shown up today, Joe. And if not for that drive where they had, 25, 30 yards of penalties, and that's the drive that the Bears scored their touchdown, they've played well in this half. In fact, they've played real well in this half, considering that they've only played on one half of the field.
Exactly, and that was the point I was about to make, Dave. We've seen multiple New York drives start in plus territory, and to allow only 6 points, given how this half has gone, I think that's considered a victory.
Absolutely.
Plus, Valley will get the ball, or I should say the Bears get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. So the Generals' defense is going to be tasked with getting right back out there to begin the second half, and they might need to set the tone for the final 2 quarters if the offense can't put something together here.
Yeah, and if you're Valley Generals, you have to go 65 yards now in maybe a minute tops. So don't do anything foolish at this point in the game. You haven't shown as an offense you can get 30 and 40-yard chunks at a time. Do not turn the ball over. That's got to be golden rule. Look at how many players in the box here for the Bears defensively.
Yeah, this has to be either a quarterback run or a quick screen. There's a big cushion on the outside, and it's 4 verticals. A heave downfield and a catch inside the New York 40.
All right, I take back everything I said, Joe. You can make the big play, but that's what happens when you rush 6. You only drop back 5 against 5 in coverage. Malik Williamson with a nice catch that time, and just like that, 30 yards down the length of the field, they're at the 36-yard line, first down.
They spike it.
Was that a spike?
It
yeah.
was.
Well,
It
finally
was.
we get the whistle.
What? And we may have another injured quarterback.
Well, let's see if we can catch the replay.
The Generals are out of timeouts?
They have one left
I
according to
thought
us.
so.
Yeah.
I thought so. Exactly.
Well, let's see if the
And
spike.
they were
wow.
indecisive. They didn't know whether or not they wanted to spike it.
Yeah. Well, let's see, Joe. We're going to take a look at it. They're getting back to the line, Let's see if everybody's set for – oh, you know what? They weren't even set, Joe. That should have been a penalty against the Generals because the wide receivers still hadn't gotten back to the line of scrimmage yet, and that's when they spiked it.
Well, unsurprisingly, the officials are going to talk it over as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And, I think the indecisiveness after completing that big pass is perplexing. I think if you complete that pass and you see from the sideline that your offense isn't certain of the game plan, you have to just call the timeout
Right.
and then discuss it and say, look, if we complete the big play and we are in bounds, we're going to spike it, or this is what we're going to do on the next snap, because now you end up in that scramble mode where they wasted about 10 seconds at least.
Yeah, and if the spike did indeed happen, it's 2nd down and 10, right? The down marker says first down. So we still have to get a sense of what's going on here. Was that an incomplete pass? Were they not set? Was the ball not set? Who knows at this point? But
do the officials know is the
well,
question.
the official has the number 1 pointed up.
Well, that would mean it's first down, and that
Right.
last play never happened.
Exactly, and I'm wondering if because they didn't even set the ball down. I'm not even sure, but the down marker says 1st and 10, Joe. So that's what we have to go with because that's a
gift.
Exactly, and they're
And
going
they're
to
gonna
wind
run the
and they're going to
clock,
run the
so-
clock. So indeed, it's first down. There was no spike.
And it's a quick throw to the right, and the knee may have been down there, Dave.
Yeah. Either way, it's a very short gain on the
No
play.
face mask there. The Generals wanted one. They didn't get it.
They're going to have to hurry.
Certainly a high tackle, and they must be out of timeouts, Dave.
Well, now there's time. There's whistles.
That's it.
That's the end of the first half.
And that is baffling that they threw a short pass to end the half there, knowing how little time was left. But by our count, they did have 1 timeout remaining. We must have been mistaken as the official tally is kept down on the field. And with that, we reach halftime. Our score, the New York Bears 6 and the Valley Generals nothing. Second half in this NFL Colonial Conference matchup coming up following the halftime break.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calv, wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089232694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calv, wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMed Bar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089232694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here, along with Joe Calv, wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen?
I'm so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work with me, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right track.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Refined, restorative, results-driven. At CMX iMedBar, we blend medicine, aesthetics, and wellness into one luxury experience, led by Dr. Angela Roque. Located in the heart of Pier Village, Long Branch. Visit cmximedbar.com or text 9089232694 to look better, feel better, live elevated.
Attention, local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside David Pizzuto on the call. And we are at halftime in this NFL Colonial Conference matchup between the New York Bears and the Valley Generals. And Dave, it was a sloppy first half to say the least. Both teams had some moments that they'd like to forget. The Bears, however, did put together a scoring drive that right now is the difference in the game. That being said, you know they are not happy with how that first half went. For the Generals, it was a mess offensively in terms of penalties and fumbles. However, there was a bright spot for them. On the defensive line, they got a lot of pressure on New York. Is that going to be enough to get them back in this game?
Well, it could be enough if they force that big turnover, if they get like a fumble recovery return. Offensively, they had one really good play, and that was the play right before the half, right before they tried to spike it, and that was on that big long pass play. But again, that's because the Bears kind of sold out on that play too, and very nearly had a zero blitz on that play. That being said, listen, if you're a fan of offensive football, this was not your game. I mean, there were too many unforced penalties offensively, false starts. We saw a delay of game penalty. We've seen encroachment penalties. We've seen pass interference penalties. We've seen face masks. We've seen a lot of laundry on the field and no real continuity on offense. And even the Bears, as polished of a team that they are, and they started the game really running the football well, but credit to the Generals. Defensively, they kind of solved that Bears running game in the second quarter especially, and the Bears were really unable to move the football, and they haven't shown enough from the passing game, enough to convince us that the Valley Generals are completely out of this game. Now, I haven't seen enough from the Generals offensively to make me think that they can score one touchdown, let alone two, to overtake the Bears here. But it's still anybody's game, Joe, because we haven't seen enough from either team to convince us that one of these teams overwhelmingly deserves to win. That being said, listen, both defenses have played really good, really well. They've gotten pressure on the quarterback. They've hit hard. They've gotten hats to the ball. So they've done what they've had to do defensively. The question is, who's going to pull away here in this second half, after a very dismal offensive first half? That was, mind you, only played on one side of the field.
Very true, and I think you're right when you say that ultimately, at this point, it's anybody's game. The Bears lead it by just 6. I think if they go up by 2 scores, that is going to make it a very, very difficult comeback bid on the side of the Generals, the way things have gone offensively. And when it comes down to it, you're right. They did not show us enough to make us believe they could make up a 2-score deficit. But right now, they are one big forced turnover, one big play on offense away from tying this game. And then if they kick the PAT or convert for 2, they're leading. And the way their defense is played, that might be all it takes. So I think the objective for the Bears in this second half is to go ahead by 2 scores by whatever means necessary. If that means kicking a field goal from in close, you do it. If you can dial up one big play to score, you'll take it. Whatever you have to do to get in the end zone or put one through the uprights, I think that's enough right now to win this game if you don't turn the football over.
And don't discount plays like this, Joe. Special teams.
That is right. That is very true. And they have good blocking on this run back. And Dave, you may have called it. A flag comes out. And I think this one's coming back around midfield. There is shoving going on along the Bears sideline. And we will see what the ruling on this play is. I thought that whatever occurred there near midfield was unnecessary. Is this touchdown going to stand?
I don't think it is, but we're going to see where the flag is thrown. Keep your eye on the 40-yard line of the Generals here. There's 2 players locked up. Oh, and yeah, it's a tackle. It's a tackle made by the Bears player unnecessarily, Joe. Had both arms around number 27 of the Generals and the takedown. And it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Bears, and it's going to negate the touchdown.
That one stings if you're New York, and a big sigh of relief for the Generals. And, we talked about what they did on the defensive line in that first half and how we were impressed at the pass rush they were able to generate and how it seems they solved the Bears a bit after that New York scoring drive. And to not even give them a chance to get on the field, had that touchdown stood, I think that would have been devastating and effectively put this game away.
I think so, too. Yeah, I think so, too. I think if the Bears go up by 2 scores here, it might be too insurmountable of a lead to come back. Unless the Generals have some type of, ace up their sleeve here, I just don't see it happening. But that turns out to be about a 60-yard penalty because the bottom line is it went for 6, and I don't think Sisson Jr. needed the help there in order to gain the edge and get the sideline. But instead, the ball's going to be spotted at the 43. It's a good start for the Bears, nevertheless, and we'll get to see the offense and what adjustments they made at halftime. They'll empty the backfield here to start the second half of play.
And don't discount the fact, and it's easy to lose it and all that happened in that first half, the Generals lost their starting quarterback.
Right.
That's another piece of this equation. But that's not a factor at the moment as the Bears have it. They're backed up into their own territories. Crawford's looking to throw, and he takes the blindside hit from behind. Jacob Tuttle in there for the sack. And again, the Bears go backwards as the result of a Valley sack.
Yeah, it's only a loss of 1 on the play, so it'll be second down and 11, but still, maybe second and 12, actually. But a way to get home, and again, from the blind side, Joe, and Crawford very lucky not to lose that ball because Tuttle was kind of arm-barring, trying to get that ball dislodged. And I think the Bears kind of got away with one there. And, they are getting home with 4. And that's very surprising for me here, this Generals defense, getting home with 4 on the rush.
And you said it, Dave. That's a way to force a turnover, a blindside hit. As again, Crawford is looking to throw downfield into double coverage. Liddy is there, and he makes like a DB and bats that one away from a pair of Generals down the field.
Yeah, Zatrell Lyons had an opportunity at it, number 27 as well. It'll be third down and 12 coming up. And it looked like that one left Crawford's hand a little funny, too. I don't think he got, either he didn't throw it as quick as he should have, and it kind of hung up there. But you're right. Liddy had to play defensive back there 1 versus 2 just to make that an incomplete pass.
3rd and long now for New York, and this is the kind of situation where the Generals pass rush that has had an excellent night, especially since the second quarter began. They can really look to make a play here to maybe get the football back for their offense in plus territory. They're showing pressure, but they drop off again, sending 4. It's short completion on the quick out, and that is not even close. And they lost a yard on that one.
Yeah, they lost a yard, so it's going to be 4th and 13. And again, that ball just hung up in the air, and it had to make up so much real estate going across the field that it's just a nice open field tackle. I believe that was Malik Williamson again defensively to converge on the pass catcher there, draw him back a couple of yards, and that's not a good start here for the Bears offensively on their first offensive drive. And mind you, this is all coming off of a kickoff return that was wiped away due to what? A penalty. And that was the theme of the first half for both of these teams. Penalties. It takes a touchdown off the board on the kickoff, and your offense goes negative 4 yards on your first series, and you're going to have to give the ball promptly here on a 3-and-out to the Generals.
I am by no means, Dave, an advocate of playing not to lose. But until the Generals show you something offensively, if you protect the football, I think you're likely to protect the lead.
Flags again.
False start on the Bears. Back them up 5 more.
Yep, so so instead of a 4th and 13, it'll be 4th and 18 as they back up 5 yards.
And those yards matter because the Generals right now have had just the one big passing play, and that was in the closing seconds of the first half when the Bears were effectively in a prevent defense. So you don't want to do them any favors here, and should the Generals get in and block one?
Yep, or a bad snap here, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, exactly. And the Bears flinched.
And again, they're going to back up again.
Did they throw the flag? They did.
Now they did.
Well,
boy. 6 seconds after the play ended.
After it was pointed out by the Valley defensive front.
4th down and 23 coming up.
Yeah, I mean, this has been disastrous in terms of penalties. I mean,
and I don't
non-stop.
know. Yeah, and I don't know, Joe, if it's a product of it's still early in the season and the teams just haven't practiced, punts yet, or they just they don't do this a lot in practice, or they just don't have the reps. But they actually moved the ball 5 yards up, Joe. So maybe that was a penalty on the defense. So it's back to a 4th and 13.
What I said still stands. It's been a disaster in terms of penalties all game.
Yeah.
No particular side, really. Both teams have had some backbreakers, and Bears easily get that one away, but it's shanked toward the general sideline where 3 players compete for it before a coach grabs it, or maybe a player in street clothes. Either way, pretty good field position for the Generals here. They'll take over at their own 45-yard line, and I think you'll take that given where that punt came from. The question now becomes, what can they do with it on offense?
Yeah. Well, listen, if you're the Generals, you cannot have scripted the start of this third quarter any better. They give up a touchdown on the opening kickoff. It's called back due to a penalty, an unnecessary penalty at that. And you end up getting the ball back after a 3-and-out at your own 48-yard line. So you've been gifted a great start to this half. And now, whatever you guys were discussing on the, northwest corner of this football field at halftime, we need to see the byproduct of that right now. I mean, defensively, those weren't the issues. This was the issue. So what have you done at halftime to show us, anyway, here in the broadcast booth that things are going to be different here in this third and fourth quarter? It starts right now.
Shotgun set, bunch to the right of the formation. Moore Jr. still in there at quarterback. It's a quick screen to the outside. And probably the best pickup on first down that they've had outside of the long pass late in that second quarter.
Yep.
Give them 6 on the play.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2nd down and 4. And, again, that's different than what we saw in the second quarter, especially where it was just quarterback keeper right, quarterback keeper left, quarterback keeper on the run. So you get the ball out. It's a one-step drop. You're almost guaranteed that completion, and you're able to pull ahead for 5 yards after the catch. That's a positive play.
They are now on the New York side of the 50-yard line. And it's a quick post route, and I think that was brought in.
Yes, across his body. That's a nice catch that was made that time by Sid Franklin. First down.
Franklin able to pin that one to his shins on the way down. And seemingly out of nowhere, the Generals have picked up a first down, completed back-to-back passes, and are inside the Bears' 40.
Joe, I couldn't be happier with the way they've started. 2 passes and 1-step drop passes. So you're getting the ball out early, high percentage first down.
Perhaps a halftime adjustment paying off here. As again, they'll throw it quickly. It is complete, and flags are everywhere. And
the
man.
quarterback got absolutely demolished after the play, Joe.
Huge gain. That's inside the 15, but we are with our eyes in the offensive backfield right now as Moore Jr. was walloped, and that did draw the flag.
And there's a lot to unpack. Zatrell Lyons got the huge play down the field, and they're going to add half the distance or 15 yards to this because – quarterback here got absolutely destroyed, and it was a late hit, so they'll add half the distance because the spot of the ball is at the 17, so you think that they're going to move this one inside the 10, and this is going to be a first and goal situation, and we think our quarterback is okay. He's under his own power now. Is he, or is he still on the –
He is.
Is he coming back in?
He's coming back in, which is hard to believe given – the reaction to that hit.
The hit itself, Joe, was not as bad as I thought, but it did come after the play, and it was more like a shove, but because he was off balance with the body, he went down in a heap. It was Deshaun Frazier who hit him, and it's first down and goal coming up.
Yeah, I saw the aftermath as I followed the ball down the field, but the Bears are going to have to make an adjustment to stop these screen passes. They're sending pressure every play and have not been able to get in front of that receiver on the outside, and they let him catch it wide open again.
Yep, it's Lions again.
Yeah, they do rally to make the tackle inside the 5, but it's second and goal. I think they spotted this at the 4.
Yeah, it's a 4-yard gain. The ball was spotted at the 8. He gets to the 4, second down and goal. And, wow, this game got a whole lot interesting pretty quickly here.
And it's been a very simple adjustment.
Yep.
Get the ball out, get it to your receiver in space, and set up some blocks in front of him. You don't need to pick up much with each play to slow down that pass rush as long as you're moving in the positive direction.
Yeah, exactly. And, the Bears, because they've been so lackluster on offense, now the pressure squarely on the defense to make a play, and they're reeling a little bit here.
trips to the right. They had been working out of the bunch, so a bit of a different look here. 2nd and goal from the 4. And that snap is down on the turf with a flag out.
Yeah, and I think the quarterback just batted that one straight down because he knew the play was lost. It's probably going to be a false start on the offense here, but either way, a flag is down. And now they're going to want to talk it over, Joe.
That's unsurprising.
Well, 2 flags came out on both sides of the field, and it's actually an offside against the Bears, so it's going to be still 2nd down and goal, and only the ball's going to be spotted now at the 2, Joe. So puts a lot more on the table here on this play.
I agree. I think the problem is if you look to run it, a lot of those plays have resulted in mishandled snaps.
Right.
I'm almost inclined to say keep it in the shotgun if you do run it, and you know me, I'm a big fan of the quarterback power, but they're going to go I form here. We've seen a lot of mishandled snaps out of this form. Yep, there it is.
Oh, boy, it's a fumble.
Yeah, it's recovered by the Bears. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away, Dave.
Yep, you called it.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. And that's been all game since Moore Jr. entered the game. And yet again, they can't complete the exchange. Center to quarterback out of the I formation. It's fumbled, and the Bears fall right on top of it.
Yeah, we're getting another look at it in slower motion, and we'll get to appreciate the exchange here or the lack of the exchange. And you're right. I mean,
won't be appreciating anything.
Yeah, and you're right, because it's just not what they're used to here lining up. And you would think that you line up under center, your ability to, get the snap off improves. Not so here when you don't have when you have an inexperienced quarterback come in the game for an injured starter. The only negative here for the Bears is that you have to start this drive from your own 2-yard line, but you'll take that trade-off any day. And the woes continue here. That's the 2nd turnover of the game for the Generals.
And the Generals deserve some grace with the 2nd quarterback in there. I think that is easy to lose in all of this, but I just can't comprehend why they chose to go I form there. I can't.
Yeah.
With all the difficulties. Every time they previously ran I form since Moore Jr. has entered the game, they fumbled the snap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Bears are not out of the woods yet.
No, because
no pun intended.
Right. Yeah. Because they haven't proven they can go forward yet in this half. Remember, they went negative yards on their first drive.
I mean, if they get sacked here, it's 6-2. And Crawford will keep it. He does get back.
Right to the line
of scrimmage. Yeah, something more than that. 2nd and 10.
Yep, and again, that play is just to get you kind of out of the woods, if forgive the pun again, but not the case there as they are held up. And the way the Generals' front 4 has played in this game, very, very impressive. And it's going to put a lot of pressure here on the Bears to move the ball through the air or just get back to the ground and pound game with Brown, who has, I think, taken every carry from outside in the backfield, outside of Crawford.
And taking a look in the offensive backfield, I
Abalos?
think Abalos
Yeah,
is back
Abalos
there.
is back
Yeah,
there.
Abalos is back there. There's a bit of wildcat here.
Yeah.
Crawford not on the field. And Abalos wants to throw it and
Incomplete.
just got that away. And that ball was caught in the end zone. That might have ended up a safety.
Yeah, he was right at the 1-yard line, and then he had to retreat back to the goal line to make the catch. So that's actually, I think, a net positive for the Bears to have that go incomplete.
Oh, it sure was.
Yeah, 3rd and 10.
And I think there's a really good chance if that's caught, that ends up a safety.
Tell you what, man, I am really surprised that the Bears, almost futility here on offense in this 2nd and 3rd quarters. And I know we're still early in the 3rd. Maybe we're coming upon midway, but we have something on the field there in the corner that they're working out. But I'm
think
surprised.
They're ushering either a player, coach, or spectator away from the sideline. But this is not a spot you want to be in if you're the Bears. Backed up against your own end zone, 3rd and 10, and the Generals' pass rush has to be salivating at this opportunity.
I remember the last punt went about 10 yards before it was shanked out of bounds. This is
Apollo's still in there, quarterback. And he's going to hand it off to Brown, who has a nice hole. And did he get enough? I don't think so. I don't think so.
He's right there, Joe. He might be a little bit short.
So close. I think he's just short.
Yeah, I think it's like a 4th and a foot. At least from where the far judge is.
He's just short.
Yeah, because that ball was spotted at the 3. This is spotted at the 12, so it's going to be 4th down and 1 coming up.
Is there any consideration
No, they're
here?
punting. Well, at least they're lining up to punt anyway.
True.
True. But no, I would not consider it.
I'd go for it.
I'm going to punt this.
I'd go for it. They still have to put the ball in the end zone against you, and if you punt this, the odds of them getting the ball inside the 30 are extremely high.
Yes.
Which is why I would go for it, because I don't think your chances of netting significant yardage on this punt are high.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
That's fair.
If you told me that this ball is going to bounce across midfield, there's no question I'm punting it. But they're probably a stitch away from picking this up. I take my chances. But if they make a good punt here, then they were right to kick it.
Or if this ball lands in the field of play and is allowed to bounce.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have went for it. Let's see the bounce. Not bad.
Yeah.
That took a good Bears bounce for sure, but it landed at the 30.
Yeah,
If it goes the other way, then they might have netted 5 or 10 yards.
Correct. Instead, they net 29 total, just about 30. A 1st down and 10 for the Bears. For the Generals, coming off their best offensive drive of the game by far. But, of course, it ends in a turnover due to a poor snap. And again, by all accounts, another unforced error signals the end of that drive for the Generals. And now they have to start back from square one. Good field position, but still a heavy amount of real estate to make up.
So you're comfortable with the decision to punt now, knowing the starting field position is the 41. You like it?
Yeah. And I would have punted from the jump. Again, the Generals have.
I know, but given the field position, you're good.
Of course, yeah.
I think I needed it a little bit further down the field, but I think this is a pretty good outcome given where that ball landed, because that punt traveled maybe 20 yards.
Yeah.
From the line of scrimmage.
And again, I know what the Generals are doing now in this half. Like they've shown their card a little bit. One step drop, boom, and now it's on me as a defense to make the adjustments. Let's see if they do.
It's a toss out of the gun, well blocked up the sideline, and that's a nice pickup on 1st down. I think they gave him 5, maybe 6. Give him 6.
Yeah, give him 6. Second down and 4. Yeah, good. That's another nice play. It's another new look. It's a play that we did not see in the first half. They actually backed it up a little bit, Joe, so it'll be a 2nd down and 5 coming up.
If they line up in any formation other than shotgun again, I would be shocked.
I think you might go down there and take the ball away from them.
I guess.
They'd have to escort you off the field, Joe.
Maybe. They'd have to usher me to the sideline.
So get back up in the booth there, buddy.
They're showing pressure again.
Yep. Movement, unforced error, penalty.
On?
The Generals, for sure.
Okay. Yep.
And that's 5 yards the other way. So the yardage you got on 1st down, take it away, and now it's 2nd down and 10.
This almost, I'm going to keep going back to it until this drive's over. It almost makes me think, just go for it. You needed an inch.
Yeah.
Because I guess if you had gone for it and then they complete that 1st down, run the 1st down toss, they're pretty close already if you don't get it. It would have been about halfway there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. It's another fumble on what looked to be a read option, and that will back them up 5 more.
Yeah, so it'll be 3rd down and 15 coming up. And, again, a product a little bit of the pressure there to disrupt the handoff exchange, but that just that looked out of sorts. And, again, when you have a backup quarterback who's been in the game since the 2nd quarter, these are things that you would imagine are not being rehearsed a lot at practice. And timing and rhythm and continuity, that stuff just isn't around right now for the Generals.
Yeah, like I said, they deserve some grace for the backup quarterback in, but I think you're limited at this point to no plays that require an option, no plays that require a handoff. I think you really don't have much of a choice other than toss, quick throw, quarterback run. You could try a direct snap to the halfback if you want to get the halfback the ball as we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter.
Wow.
So I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
Dave. It was a quick quarter, but that's about as quick as it gets right there. And we're at the end of 3 here in Hilburn. It's still 6-0 Bears. And New York now has the Generals in a 3rd and 15 where if they can get it back, they might be able to put this game away.
Yeah, and I am a little bit surprised at the speed of that third quarter, but I understand it. So we'll start the fourth quarter here with the same down and distance to go, but a little bit more urgency now if you're the Generals. Now you're down to your last frame. You've played, by all accounts, a pretty good third quarter, although it was lightning fast. And it's a chance now for you to do something positive. Now on 3rd and 15, have they proven that they can get this chunk of yardage? But no, this is a 4-down game at this point. So if you can get 8, 9, 10 yards here, you're feeling a little bit better about your chances on a 4th down and 5, 4th down and 6. So that's the key here. You can need positive yardage.
Yeah, I think I would need to pick up at least 10 here to even consider it. And at that point, I still might not consider it because I'm looking at it as my best chance of scoring is forcing a turnover. Right now, I think that's my best chance of scoring. But you could still go for it and then force the turnover. 3rd long. Moore Jr. in trouble, escapes, and now he has running room, but a great tackle closes that space quickly. What a job by Moquez Dickens.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th down and 11, but Moquez Dickens, you said it, Joe. That was a great tackle. And you look back at this game, if the Bears end up holding on, there's a lot more real estate to run. There's a lot more real estate there to be had, maybe even a 1st down if he continues to be running. Instead, it's 4th and long.
I thought for sure he had it when he took off to run. He was able to escape that pocket, step up through the rush, which got home, and he had a lot of green in front of him to the point where I thought he might be gone. That's how much room he had, and Dickens, with an exceptional burst, went low, took him out at the legs, and immediately shut down the potential of a big play. Now, it is going to be about a 4th and 12. I thought maybe you punt here and try and pin them back, especially with the quality of the punts we've seen.
That's a true point. It's a good point, too.
Yeah, I think that's your best chance of getting down around the end zone. But at the very least, I would throw it deep here, and maybe the Bears pick it off. Maybe your receiver makes a play. Either way, it's 4th and 12. Trips to the right. One man in the backfield alongside Moore Jr., and he will throw the quick screen. The Bears are right there, and I have no idea what they were doing there.
Yeah, and again, it was the screen, but not a lot of blocking in front. So there was 3 white jerseys ready to converge on the pass catcher. I think it was the Detroit Lions who made the catch. Indeed, it was, and they go down. And yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's a play that's been working in the third quarter. But again, if you don't get the downfield blocking, it's all for naught. And now the Generals' defense, just like you said, Joe, might need the big turnover, might need the big, scoop and score type of thing in order to get themselves back in this game. And, as far as the Bears, you have a chance here to whittle down clock again, maybe even get 2 or 3 first downs and pin the Generals back and force them to have to go the length of the field 80, 90 yards for a score.
Yeah, Dave, I just can't fathom throwing 12 yards short of the sticks on 4th down. I just don't get it.
It's just all they've had, really.
At that point, punt it.
Yeah, it's a good point. No, it's very fair. And I see that point. I saw it when you were making that point, and I agree with it now as well. I mean, looking at what your defensive front four has been able to do to this Bears team, why not punt it deep and hope to get them inside the 10 and let your defense go to work?
I think your best chance of moving the ball down into the red zone is to punt and force a turnover or even a punt. If you force a punt, a couple of those have traveled just a few yards, and now on the first defensive play for the Generals, they call timeout.
Yeah, so the Generals have called timeout here, and let's just reset the timeouts to 3 apiece before we do that. But now they're down to 2, and so you might need that one later in the game, but I guess sensing, an inferior lineup or just, abandoned coverage somewhere, they call the timeout. They're actually counting the players on the field, Joe, so maybe they didn't have enough players on the field.
I'm thinking they had 10.
Yeah.
But the lone touchdown in this game seems like an eternity ago, and even though we've seen the Generals get close, it feels like we've been miles away from a second touchdown since that first one.
Yeah, and it's a credit to the defense, certainly. It's a credit to the fact that the Generals are down their backup quarterback. But at the same time, the offenses have really struggled in this game, like noticeably have struggled in this game.
For sure. And, when you look at the final yardage totals and what the Generals did or did not do offensively, you'd think, wow, the Bears defense really did a great job in this game. But it's not that the Bears defense hasn't played well. There's been a bunch of fumbled snaps as Abalos now appears to have taken over at quarterback, and he's still going as he reverses field, cuts it up the center of the field, and fights quite a bit for what goes down as a gain of 4.
Yeah, it'll be 2nd down and 6 coming up, and that's a lot of running around for Abalos to get that. But at the same time, good for him as he was going to get bottled up in the backfield. But, again, Joe, I think that the front 4 of the Generals are really making a statement because Abalos is looking to pass. He's got 4 wide receivers going against 7 defensive backs. So, you might have one receiver who's matched up single coverage, but as a quarterback, when you're under duress and you're trying to scan the field for your first, second, and third options, and they're all 5, 10, 15 yards down the field, it's really, really difficult when you have that many guys in the secondary covering guys, and it's the ability to get home with 4 that's the difference here for the Generals. Although now they show blitz and bring it.
They sure did, and that's a loss of a yard. And, oh, man. That's going to draw a flag for a personal foul.
Yep.
Helmet came off for one of the Bears. I think that was Jason Rogers who had his helmet ripped off. He took exception and then threw one of the Generals down to the turf, drawing a flag for a personal foul. And if this is one personal foul that goes against the Bears and a second offsetting foul is not assessed, this one hurts in a big way.
Well, I think the initial was offsetting fouls, but let's see. And they happen after the play. So understanding that it's going to be 3rd and 7 coming up. Yep. So those were offsetting penalties. It'll be 3rd down and 7 coming up.
So on 3rd and 7, the Bears will have an opportunity to take valuable time off the clock if they pick up a first down. I don't see them putting the ball in the air if they cross midfield. I just don't. They probably will need to throw it here to pick this up, however.
Yeah. And on that last play, Joe, I don't know if the Generals absolutely knew that was going to be a run and that's why they sold out, but I would not bring pressure. I would not bring 6 guys in. To me, that was a mistake. I mean, they've been getting home with 4. You got a backup quarterback in there as well in Abalos. Stick with 4. Leave your guys in coverage.
Well, if you don't bring pressure, you better have a spy in Abalos. And they send 4, and Abalos had a man wide open. And it looked like Marset just kind of stopped. I think that ball was on target.
Yeah, he might have been concerned about going over the middle, Joe, and maybe absorbing a hit. But yeah, he kind of waved at that one. He kind of just like threw a hand in front of it. But if he lets that ball meet his body and completes the slant, that's going to be a first down. Let's take a look. Yeah, he had to adjust a little bit. I think he tried to sit down in coverage, Joe, and right at the first down marker, and then he tried to adjust to the ball. So I'm willing to give Marset a pass there, but that ball came in with a lot of mustard on it.
Bears will send the punt unit out now on 4th down. No surprise there. But again, we've seen a couple of these not travel very far, and at this point in the game, every yard matters. It's a low snap, and it's a fumble. And the Generals are on top of it. And, Dave, that goes back to my point before. If you punted and you got that same outcome from this drive, that fumble may have occurred in the end zone.
It may have occurred in the end zone. You're right. And it may have turned into points or at least be on the doorstep of points. Instead, I don't want to say the Bears dodge a bullet, but it is 1st and 10 now in favor of the Generals inside Bears territory and almost a carbon copy of the first half. We have a game that's being played entirely on one side of the field. And just like we said about the Bears, Joe, they played almost the entire first half on the General side of the field, only have 6 points to show for it. Now the Generals have played almost the entirety of the second half on the Bears side of the field. They are still scoreless in this game. Eventually, something has to give. The Generals have been in great field position all half long. They've got to turn it in. They got to bank, and they got to turn this into points.
Looking at this game, Dave, at halftime, our takeaway entering the third quarter is that it's anybody's game, and I think we've seen that play out the way this half has gone. Not really much has changed since the first half. I think the Generals have accomplished a bit more offensively, no question about that. But the Bears' offense has simply gone MIA at this point. They have not been able to do much of anything in terms of positive plays, and they haven't looked to run the ball at all, really. It's just been a couple of runs, and I think they've sent a trainer across the field.
I was wondering at first what was going on. There was
I think they've sent one of the trainers across the field from the Bears sideline over to the General sideline, and maybe there was a player that the officials designated had to come off, but it doesn't look like that's the case here. So a bit of a delay, and Dave, they've gone back to Williams at quarterback.
Okay, so the cobwebs have come off, and let's see if it provides a spark.
Did they just clear him in the middle of the second half? Very odd that he wouldn't have been back in sooner as they toss it, and the Bears are all over this one. That's a loss of 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, it's going to be a loss of 4, I believe, so second down and 14 coming up, and that did not fool anybody.
No. On the carry there, that was halfback Jason Atterbury. But again, back to what we said during the first half. First down snap and a big loss as Jason Walker looked to be helping the official spot that football.
And this has been a theme of the game for the Generals. Negative yards on first down, it kills drives. Almost immediately kills drives, and now they got to work out of this hole.
Williams lined up in the gun, 4 receivers on the field for Valley. Bears again showing pressure. They send 5 on a handoff, and it's well blocked. Nice move by Atterbury, still on his feet. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage plus 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, it'll be third down and about 8 coming up, I believe. And, again.
You'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. You'll take that a gain of 6 on the play. And
if you can hold off that pass rush long enough, that draw is one way to beat the blitz. You get that pass rush collapsing toward the quarterback, and they were able to set the edge for Atterbury there. He had to make a man miss as well. It was an impressive move to not only make the defender miss, but to keep going upfield with a good burst.
He didn't get as many yards as I thought, Joe, so it's a third and 10,
Yeah, I think they gave him a 3rd and 9. Either way, it's 4-down territory without doubt here. They'll have 2 plays to get this, and the important thing to accomplish on this play is move forward, pick up something. Now, they've marked it actually 4th and 11. I had the sticks misread.
Yeah, it's third. Yeah, it's third down.
3rd and 11 on the board, but it's a 3rd and 9. Williams will look to throw. The pressure is chasing him down, and he will try and turn up field, but cannot, as he is flattened along his sideline by Corey Walker.
Yeah, it goes down as a sack when it didn't need to be. Could have just thrown it away there. Instead, it's a loss of 4 on the play, so it's going to be 4th down and about 15 coming up.
Well, Dave, I thought on that particular play that he had the edge and was going to be able to turn up field, but credit to Walker, who chased him down and then completely flattened him, and it looks like Williams is getting the play call from the sideline. I thought he might be headed back to the bench.
And again, Joe, they're in that area where why not punt here?
Yeah.
Your defense has been absolutely sensational. Your offense has not proven that it can pick up a 15-yard gain at all in this game, with the exception of that heave right before halftime. I don't really understand this call here. I really don't. I think you need to punt the football. I
didn't understand it before either.
Exactly. And to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I think if you go for it here, you have to throw it up down the field. And they got moving early.
Yeah. So now
this may help them because I think they
now
might need to turn to punt.
Now you absolutely better punt. 4th down and 20 coming up.
Coach Pizzuto coming out.
I'm taking my headset off, Joe. I'm going down there. I'm going to start talking to some of these guys.
I hate to break it to you, Dave, but I'm not sure they're going to punt. It looks like they are setting the punt unit. Yeah. They should have punted before anyway.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think this does them a service here.
Yeah, and Sanchez has been sensational on these punts. He's been really, really good sending it down the field. And now, again, the Bears have gotten some good returns as well. But I think if you're able to sky this one up, even if it ends up at the Bears 20, I think that's still a positive considering how well defensively you've played in this game.
I think to make the punt worth it, the original line of scrimmage was about the Bears.
39.
Oh, 39. They backed up 10?
Yes. So it's 4th and 20. Yep.
Oh, I meant the line of scrimmage before that most recent penalty. So the 44.
Right.
I would think to make a punt worth it from there, you'd have to at least pin the Bears inside of their own 20. Otherwise, I think you just go for it.
And I think that's Sisson back there, and he's set up at about the 10, about the 9-yard line.
Yeah, I think ideally you want this one to pin them back inside the 20, and then it was a punt well worth it.
Oh, movement again.
Oh.
It's going to be encroachment against the Bears. It's got to be. I mean, there was some contact made there.
There's been a lot of finger pointing in this game if you look around the line of scrimmage, both teams pointing at one another at different times, and it's just been a really sloppy game, and I guess you could say the score reflects that, but, man, there have been more flags in this game than I can recall in any game we've covered, Dave.
Yep. There's been a lot, and there's been a lot of these conferences because there's been multiple flags and multiple views on what happened, and I think if they get this one right, this will probably be against the Bears, and it will be, so they'll move it back to that line of scrimmage, Joe, and it's 4th and 15.
Well,
again.
Do you reconsider now because you're back?
I would not.
I
would not.
I wouldn't either, but they were prepared to go for it from here before. So if you were going to go for it before, I would think they're going to send the offense back out there now, but it doesn't look like it.
No, and I think this is the right call. I think you punt it here, and
if they
pin
punted
them back.
before, they might be tied. I really believe that because the Bears didn't really move much. So I'm thinking if they punted before, that was a big opportunity they let go, but they're set up to punt here on 4th and 15. Good snap. And a pretty good kick. And it does take a Generals bounce rolling toward the 10. And they'll touch it down at the 11.
Yeah, listen, that's a net win right there. You reversed field by about 30 yards or so. It'll be 1st and 10 Bears. And, again, the pressure now squarely on the Bears to get out of the shadows of their own end zone here. And, again, if you're the Valley Generals, you have a chance here. You make a big defensive play, fumble, scoop, and score, pick six, even in just an interception or even just a 3-and-out at this point. There's still plenty of time in this game, but you obviously need to stop here. And if you're the Bears, you haven't had a first down yet in this half. So it's high time that your offense kicks into gear here and closes out this game for your defense, which has really done a terrific job against this Generals team.
How aggressive are you here if you're the Generals sending pressure? Because
I'm not.
They ran before and they sent the house.
Right. Yeah, I'm not, only because my front four has done an amazing job in this game. And really, even against the run game, they really haven't been able to generate a lot, have the Bears. Since that first quarter, Daquan Brown was getting 5- and 6-yard chunks in that first quarter. Not really the case since then. He's averaging, 2-3 yards per carry at most. And Abalos hasn't really fared much better.
The shotgun look for Abalos. And a handoff to Brown. And Brown is stopped.
I think it's about 3.
After a gain of 3, a body went flying at the end of that play, but no foul called, and it's going to be a 2nd down at 7.
Yeah, and again, I think if you're the Bears, that's okay, right? Because the clock is ticking. You're getting 40 seconds off the clock here with every play. The Generals only have 2 timeouts left. We don't know exactly how much time is left, but if you're the Bears, you can continue to play patient. But you need first downs, too. So it's not enough just to whittle the clock here.
Yeah, if you're the Bears and you pick up at least 1 first down here, I think you have the Generals down to their last possession next time they touch it.
Mm-hmm.
If they touch it again.
Right.
And again, they will hand it off to Brown. Brown finds room and is taking defenders with him out across the 20. And did he get enough? They needed the 21.
And they got it. They got the 21. I don't know if it'll be just, they are moving the sticks. So first down.
That is a big pickup by Brown. And, Dave, this is exactly what I said before. They really haven't run it as much as I would have expected.
Yeah, especially after that first quarter where they had a lot of success. And, just if they continue to run it here, even just 3 straight plays, you're taking another 2 minutes off the clock. So This is all good if you're the Bears here.
And importantly, they took a lot of danger out of a potential punt because now at least you won't be kicking from inside of your own end zone. We covered a game once, and I'll make the point following this next play, but there was a situation where I suggested taking an intentional safety. And this might be a free play. Brown will take the handoff, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and is thrown down hard by 4 Generals. They're celebrating, but there's a flag on the field, and it's against Valley.
Yeah, so it'll be a 1st down and 5 coming up after the penalty. And again, it's another unforced error. I know if you're the Generals, you want to hit that gap early. You want to time it perfectly, but there's a 5 yards you can't afford to lose there. It's just, now the Bears can run the ball 3 times, and all they need to do is convert 5 yards, and they get to run another 2 minutes off the clock. So mental error doesn't need to get done. You were not forced to go offside there. There was no count. There was no hard count there. It's just a mental error in a game filled with them.
So 1st and 5 now. Trips to the left of the formation for New York, and I'd be surprised if we get anything here other than a handoff. And what do I know? Abalos throws deep. He has a man wide open. It's caught. Jason Sisson Jr. up the sideline and gone. And New York may have just put this game away. Abalos to Sisson Jr. for the New York touchdown.
74 yards, Joe. And again, what do we know, right? We expected them to run 3 straight times, but Jason Walker's like, listen, let's end this game. Let's take the top off. Everybody's expecting us. The crew at PDF is expecting us to run. The 11 guys in blue are expecting us to run. Let's send Sisson out there, the fastest guy on the field, the go route, good protection, great ball that is right on him, and Sisson does the rest. 12-0 Bears, and that might have been the dagger.
It sure looks like that is going to be the touchdown. That seals this one. The Bears lead it 12-0. And Dave, they caught me by surprise. They caught this defense by surprise. And credit to Jason Walker and the Bears play callers because that's gutsy.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's low risk. If it's not there, you just throw it away. But in a game where the pass rush has been what it has been for the Generals and pressure has been arriving quickly, to trust a backup quarterback to make that throw and to trust your line to hold up in blocking, that's a big-time show of confidence in those players, and they rewarded that confidence with a big touchdown.
It sure is. And, again, I think the Bears were sensing that they needed to do something, too, offensively that was big and explosive and can put this game away and shut the door. And I think they just got it. And they're going for 2.
Abalos on the rollout, throws back of the end zone, complete for the 2-point conversion. And the Bears now lead it 14-0. Abalos to Liddy on the 2-point try.
Yeah, that was nice. Abalos looked far right, and he kind of threw it, not so much across his body, but kind of short-armed it on a dime and on a dart to Liddy, who was standing right there at the back stripe all alone. Sure-handed catch. It's now 14-0. And, again, we didn't like the Generals' chances down 6-0 late in the game to really drive the length of the football field in order to tie the game. Now they're going to need huge yards in big chunks in a short amount of time. Don't know if this offense is equipped to do that. And the Bears are right now in a great position to start 2-0 on the season.
Yeah, and I think when you look back at this game, ultimately, if you could look at one play where this game was lost, it was the fumble on the goal line for the Generals.
Sure,
if I had
absolutely.
to pinpoint one play,
no doubt,
that was it, and you could see it coming from a mile away, or in our case, from about 55 yards away, because you knew as soon as they lined up in I form, it had been problematic all night. We've seen it time and time again in this game. They try and line up in that formation, and the snaps just aren't being executed. They've turned over a couple of them already, and that second one was really the backbreaker because they came seemingly out of nowhere to put what looked like it was going to be a scoring drive together. Instead, it was a turnover, and they never quite got that close again, despite great starting field position on more than one occasion. That one received by Shamari Evans, And Evans has good blocking. Evans still going up the far sideline and finally taken down by multiple Bears just short of midfield.
Yeah.
And now a penalty is called at the end of this play.
Yeah,
And
it was a very late hit on the sideline by one of the Valley Generals players. And this is going to back them up 15 yards after a good return. But, Joe, to your point before, you know, and that fumble, and obviously that was the big play of this game. That was the big play of this game. And, you know, if you back up even further, the Bears returned the opening kickoff of the third quarter for a touchdown. That got called back for a penalty. And your defense held the Bears to a 3-and-out, and everything was going your way. You were getting 6 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards. You got the ball first and goal because of a big play and then a half the distance to the goal penalty. So you had the Bears kind of frustrated and working backwards and reeling, and everything was going your way. And if you're able to score on that drive, and even if you don't make the extra point, even if it's 6-6, every bit of momentum is in your corner at that moment. But that fumble, it just killed everything. It killed the vibe that was going on that sideline. And like you said, you called it from 55 yards away, and that's going to be a problem for this team in the I form. And true to form, that's exactly what happened. And the Generals have not been the same since. And you know, it makes sense. You know, when you have a letdown that's huge, it makes sense.
yeah, I think that's a major lapse in play calling in that spot. And again, they were operating with a backup quarterback. So we thought for much of this game. I don't know if that was by choice or by necessity with the big hit that Williams took earlier, but he's back in there now. So I would assume that if he's back in there now, at some point sooner than when he came back, he had to be good to go. At some point sooner than that, because he was out for almost 2 full quarters.
Yeah. And maybe that was the reason for the medical staff going back and clearing him and making sure that he was okay. But they haven't respotted the ball here. And this ball wasn't past the 50 on the return. Now, the penalty happened at about the Bears' 45-yard line. But this spot here is a little weird because the end of the play was at about the Generals' 48-yard line. That's where the end of the kickoff occurred. So if they back this up 15, which I believe they are, this ball should be spotted at about the 33-yard line, but they're spotting it 15 yards from the spot of the actual foul. So either way, the Generals are backed up.
Yeah, they spotted it between the hash marks and then walked it back after that. So...
yeah, whatever. It's a bad spot, but it works out. I mean, it's only 5 yards, but
this is really putting the Generals in a position where it's hard to imagine that they put points on the board. 3:44
left. Yeah,
remaining. So
thank you to our PA announcer.
We'll see if the Generals can shock us once again. The Bears surprised us going deep on that touchdown throw. Balos to Sisson Jr. That made it 12-0. The 2-point try has extended the New York lead to 14. And finally, we have our next offensive snap. Now, quick throw on an attempted screen pass. It's blown up by the Bears, and they've seen that one too many times now.
Yeah, and that's a gorgeous play by the defensive back, Nigel Swift, who has an interception in this game, just to work through the block and make the tackle in open space. And he actually tackled the ball carrier and his blocker at the same time. That's a great one-man show right there for Smith. And, Joe, what is that, like the 7th or 8th time they've gone backwards on first down in this game? It's going to be 2nd and 15.
Yeah, their first down positive yardage play percentage in this game is probably, what would you say, maybe like
positive yards?
20%?
Like, yeah, 20% tops.
Yeah, not good.
No.
Not good.
That's been their Achilles heel, I think, all game, is their first down offense has been anemic.
And it's surprising because they haven't really done anything differently on the other downs.
Mm-hmm.
It's been maybe a matter of scheming for the Bears, but they'll throw the short, quick pass to the sideline again. This time there was a bit more space, but that's closed quickly.
Yeah, got about 3 on the play, so 3rd down and 12 coming up. And again, with 3:44 left in the game and down by 2 scores, this ain't it, Joe. You know what I mean? And I think that we can agree that, if you're the Bears, this is just okay. This is just fine. You want to get 3 and 4 yards on every play? Yeah, we'll give you that. There's no problem. You're not going to go out of bounds to boot? No problem. We'll give you your 4 yards. And if you want it again here on 3rd and 12, we'll give you that cushion. We'll let you catch that ball. We'll tackle you in bounds, and this game will be over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I think now, trailing by 2 scores this late in the game, what did get the Generals down to the goal line earlier is not going to work again. They are not going to be able to throw those short, quick screen passes, and they're not going to be able to run the ball much, if at all. It's a matter of needing too much in too little time.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-snap motion man here is Williamson. He never came set.
No way.
Not even close. He's the intended target, and that pass is high.
He took a shot in the back as he went up for that one, but no flag down. As I agree with that call because the ball was pretty much uncatchable. They'll probably have to go here on 4th down, 4th and 12, and
if they punt here after not punting before, I might leave my headset and go home.
And I think the problem with the Generals, Joe, and again, we said it during pregame, we don't know a lot about this team. Like, we haven't seen them on tape. We didn't, we thought they would be more than this offensively. And to me, I don't know if it was just the Bears and how they came out and played defensively. I don't know if it was the injury to the quarterback early, but they just seem like so one-dimensional. And, you have to be better, especially against a defense like the Bears. You have to have more than 2 or 3 plays in your arsenal. And I'm talking about go-to plays in order to beat a team like the Bears. It's just it doesn't work with this scheme or game plan, and they're showing it. I mean, they're stuck at 0, and they've made far too many mistakes in between these 2 or 3 plays that they're running to be any sort of effective in this game.
Well, this is essentially the game here on 4th down. Generals have to have it. The Bears again creeping toward the line of scrimmage, and they will send 5. Rolling to his left, Williams now circling back right, and he is not going to get rid of this one. He flips it, and it's picked off! Intercepted by the Bears. Christian Robinson grabbed it out of the air as Williams inexplicably flipped it up in front of him. And Robinson, the beneficiary, with the pick.
Joe, I don't mean to poke fun at the Generals when I say this, but that play is pretty indicative of the way they've played in this game. I mean, it's such a fitting play because, the Bears rush 5, and there's no one in the same galaxy as the quarterback who's fixing to pass. I mean, all the receivers are 20 and 30 yards down the field, while the quarterback is running for his life backwards. There's no real awareness, spatial awareness by the receivers on the Generals. The quarterback decides to just flip it up. What he's hoping for on that play, I have no idea. Taking a sack, I have no idea. So everything about that play was just wrong. And the Bears are going to have it 1st and goal as a result.
Yeah, I think on a play like that, when you scramble that far backwards, you're hoping for a miracle. You're not going to get it against this Bears defensive line. I think to flip that ball up there is a bit ridiculous. I think you just give yourself up. Give yourself up on that play because what can possibly come from that? Nothing. As the Bears will hand off here, it is perfectly blocked, and New York is on the board with their 3rd touchdown of the night. And it seems like...
And who was that guy?
Yeah, it seems like New York may have just ended this one. I think we had the final whistle come in following that touchdown, but we'll see.
We could pick up a number there, Joe, on the ball carry. He's coming over to the sideline now.
I want to say it was 37.
Yeah.
It was 37.
All right.
That was Asmir Ivy. He got lost in the corner there. We had to wait for him to come back.
That's okay.
But that was Ivy on the touchdown.
Okay. So it's 20-0 is our score, and we don't know if that's the end of the ball game. Yeah, they're lining it up.
Yeah,
so this is a final.
I thought I heard the officials whistle end of game, and you can kind of pick up a different inflection in the whistle. So indeed, that will do it. Our final score: the New York Bears 20 and the Valley Generals 0. And Dave, it's not the way that the Bears wanted to win. They didn't win pretty, but they won decisively. They win it by 20. And when you look at this one and the final box score, you might say, well, it was a fairly decisive victory. When you sit through it from start to finish and watch it back, they only took control of this game in the final 5 minutes because though they led 6-0, the Generals were very, very much alive and just couldn't push across 6 points. They had their opportunity from in close and just couldn't make anything happen.
Well, Joe, the negative is that this was an ugly victory for the Bears, ugly in a lot of different ways. Their defense was good, absolutely, but their opponent was ugly in this one. Their offense was ugly. But here's the thing. 8 weeks from now, no one's going to care, right? It's going to go down as a 20-0 victory that you dominated. And if 8 weeks from today, you're a better team than you were, and it's playoff time, no one cares about this performance. So these two teams have to play again in 2 weeks. I think the Bears can feel really comfortable going into that game in Connecticut 2 weeks from now, thinking, hey, we beat this team once before. We should have enough horses to go 2-0 against this team and pick up another win a little bit later in the season. And as long as we're improving with each game, defensively we checked all the boxes tonight. Offensively, we still have some work to do. But 20-0 is 20-0 is 20-0, and it goes down as a win, and the Bears will take it.
Well, one final point before we go, Dave. I can tell you they will care in 2 weeks' time because these two teams meet again on July 25th. The Bears will be on the road for that one, so we won't have it here on PDF, but we will be back here on PDF the next time the Bears play a home game. And very quickly, we can let you know that that will be on August 1st against the Bulls. So a big conference matchup coming up to open the month of August. But until next time, this has been Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto on the call. Our final score tonight in this Colonial Conference matchup, the New York Bears 20 and the Valley Generals nothing. Our next Bears broadcast, August 1st against the Bulls. Everyone, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.